Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. I know we're not hearing anything. We're on early this morning because we want to call up everybody. Call up everybody, share the link because we're bringing on Ralston at 9 sharp. 9 o'clock Ralston coming on because this is serious. When you hear we're talking about a dictatorship, that is where Jamaica is going. And every day it gets clearer and clearer. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Call up the people, them. Just getting some very disturbing information a while ago. A caller just called me a while ago, told me that a former commissioner of the fire brigade went to the University Hospital of the West Indies Thursday morning, and he was to be admitted. Need a test to be done. The test was not done until after 7 p.m. Thursday, and he didn't get a bed until Friday afternoon. What can go so? What can go so? When we're telling us, say, Jamaica in trouble, some people don't want to believe us.
President, it was indicated that regulations would be tabled in the House and Senate, of course, to support the large-scale projects and pioneering industries Tax Relief Act. In this regard, Mr. President, the large-scale projects tax relief application regulations 2025 rather, is hereby being presented in the Senate today. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, the Senate should recall, not even running. Mr. President, these projects should be aligned with the strategic priorities of the government of Jamaica. The Act is therefore designed to encourage projects with large capital investments and to stimulate job creation and growth within the economy. Mr. President, the regulations before us today have been crafted to clearly set out the requirements for approval as well as streamline the application process.
Call up everybody
for entities
because we're going to
seeking to
Ralston
receive
immediately.
the benefits provided under the Act.
Things for talk
Accordingly,
about this
Mr.
morning.
President, the proposed regulations set out the required criteria for designation of an approved large-scale project, in addition to the required criteria for declaration of an approved participant. Mr. President, the regulations also include the relevant forms to be utilized to apply for the benefits and stipulate the supporting documents that should accompany these forms as part of the application process. The regulations provide for the fees to be charged for each administrative function in the Act and the necessary reports to be provided annually by applicants who are successful in the application process. Mr. President, I will now go through the regulations, and the first one is citation, which establishes the formal title of the regulation.
All right. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. The ungodly, they are not so. They are like a chaff which the wind driveth away. So, welcome to the Colin Bell Show. Yes, man. Everybody hot this morning? Morning, Mr. Bell. Can you remind the first idea of the school bus? Morning, Raleigh. Hold the line for me, please. So, we are going to touch all of them things this morning. There's so much to talk about, my people. So much to talk about. And this morning, we're going to get into them. But the first thing we're dealing with this morning is with Ralston Iman. We've been asking Ralston every time we talk to him, what happened to Statin? Have they released their report as yet? Ralston Iman, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Welcome to the show. We are
Thank
live.
you very much.
Yes, man, and we're early this morning because a whole heap of things to be dealt with.
And I want to have all of the apologies and skeptics listening.
Well, we send out a message to all of them, tell them to forward. Because right now, when I tell people where my respect for you come from, sometimes they don't understand. And I said to them, I respect Ralston Iman because this man talk things before them happen. This man is not a mere commentator. This man is an analyst that analyze the data and make a call. Now, Raleigh, here we are.
Yep.
Here we are this morning. Statin has released their report. Tell us some of the things that are in this report from Statin before we start digging into them. Yeah.
All right, but first off, we want the country to know, as we have been telling them all along, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica is the country's premier data collections agency under the 1984 Statistics Amendment Act.
Yes. Not
the Planning Institute of Jamaica. When Norman Manley founded the Planning Institute of Jamaica, headed by the late Professor Don Mills, its job is about planning, to tell the government how many schools to build, which industry is not contributing properly to the economy, not to be front-run Statin in terms of dissemination of data on GDP. Statin is the official agency for data on GDP, inflation, international trade, labor force survey. What we have noticed in recent times, particularly on Niger class, Planning Institute of Jamaica and the Bank of Jamaica has been competing with Statin. And if you notice, even the way they treat the staff, if you look at the buildings and the way they treat the staff, the people from PAHO and BOJ gets better paid than the people from Statin. They live in better buildings than the people from Statin. Although Statin is the official agency which actually goes out there and measure and is a part of the International Statistical Network. So what we've been seeing is that Wayne and the Planning Institute has always been giving Niger good news. And that is why Planning Institute of Jamaica, they always come out before Statin and try to front-run Statin and give the most positive news to the government about the economy, public relations.
Yes.
Now, last year, Wayne and we told the country that we were not in any recession. It was ideological shocks and all kinds of crap. Right?
The Prime Minister
Statin now releases.
The Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, all of them come out and say, well, we're not in recession.
Yeah, man, and all the bogus analysts, people who call themselves analysts, who are just PR commentators for the government.
Yes.
Well, Statin now told us that we had 3 consecutive quarters of decline. The official definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters. Statin now told us that we had 3. Okay. Statin said that we declined by 0.7% during the second quarter of last year. 5.5% during the third quarter when the Planning Institute told us that was only 3.3%, and 2.4% during the fourth quarter when the Planning Institute told us it was 0.8%. So the Planning Institute estimate is 3 times below that of static.
So hold on now, Ralston. So 7 and 4 are 11, and 5 is 16. So you put on the 6 and carry 1 over here. So that means the country declined by 8.6% last year.
If you were to do it quarter by quarter, but what I'm doing, them annualize it. That's how we measure it. So the quarter of this year over the quarter of this year over the quarter of last year. If we were to do it that way, that's what we get. But then we quarter over year.
Okay. Right. So based on the second quarter of last year, we declined by 0.7%, 0.7. Based on the third quarter of 2023, the last year we're talking about is 2023. Right. We declined by 5.5%. That's very high. And
of course.
The fourth quarter, we declined by 2.4%.
And he told the nation that it was only 0.8%. He has no credibility.
And he did not tell us about the second quarter decline.
No, precisely.
So, hold on, Ralston. So the Prime Minister of Jamaica never know this?
Of course he know. Members of the Planning Institute of Jamaica and the Statistical Institute of Jamaica fall under the Ministry of Finance. And the Prime Minister is the de facto Minister of Finance.
But the Minister of Finance, didn't she know this as well?
Of course, because she came out and defended the thing too. So all of them was misleading the country. So they must be very ashamed. Well, they're not ashamed. They must be very ashamed of themselves now. But them people are not ashamed.
So all the people who have been saying that the economy is doing well, what do you have to say to them now, Ralston?
Well, them just need for, well, as I said, them should be ashamed, but as important to make them not ashamed, so they never hide themselves. Yes, they must still come out and talk to people, and so the Jamaican people are so passive. Them still listen to them. Yeah, but them people still have to hide themselves. If it was a place like America and them places, they would have to hide themselves, them couldn't have nothing to do with public policy again.
But there's no...
But them say Jamaican people understand that, so them can't tell them anything and get to it.
No. What does this say, though, to the reporting mechanism of the country?
What do you say reporting mechanism? What do you mean?
Like, who is supposed to be reporting these things? I mean, we get a lot of...
Come on. Majority of them people don't understand. They are the charlatans. And the rest of them, we don't know what the rest of them are doing there.
No, but it shows the country is in a problem, Ralston, because
of course,
if we are not
deficit.
getting the true figures, if the true figures are not coming to us, and we have leaders who are willing to lie to us and accept false figures, so them never know say this did all come out.
Well, that's the point I'm making. You get the point. Yep. So what's with them not shame? People them just know such a that's a 9-year wonder. Ralston and Colin are talking about it, and then the people are just forgot about it.
So hold on now. Second, and what was the first quarter growth?
For when?
For 2024.
2%.
So we grew by 2%
during the first quarter, and then declined by 0.7% during the second quarter, 5.5% during the third quarter, 2.4% during the fourth quarter.
So we basically have an overall decline for 2024.
Yeah, man. Right? While Barbados grew by 4.4% in 2024 with a debt to GDP of 107%. And the Bahamas grew by 3.5%.
And Grenada?
Yeah, Grenada grew by over 3% too, 3.5%. Every other Caribbean country grew by over 3%.
All the other Caribbean countries grew by over 3%.
Yeah, man.
So the only countries when I grew away are 80.
Jamaica and 80, yeah, man.
So Jamaica and 80 are Caribbean.
Yeah, man. Of course.
No, of course. People, I'm not laughing because I am happy. I am laughing because I don't want to cry. No, Ralston, the first quarter for 2025.
All right. Let me get into that story now. But before so, I'll give another scholarly explanation. Because I'll be a charlatan who I deal with.
Yes.
The concept of GDP, was first developed by Professor Simon Cosmet. He taught at Harvard University and one of the key figures of what they call the U.S. National Bureau of Economic Research. That concept was developed in 1937. How you measure the value of what you produce, right?
Yes.
Now, what we saw with statin is that statin last week them sent out a release. Them have this press conference on Thursday where they want to tell the country about some changes that they want to make in terms of how they calculate the GDP.
You mean last week?
That has come sudden, sir. We don't see that now back suddenly, sir. Yeah?
Hold on, Ralston.
So while we were expecting just the normal reporting on GDP, we saw... Hello?
Hold on. You said last week, meaning the end of June to the beginning of July? Just last week?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. When they know, because them get the GDP numbers a quarter apart. So on June 30, we expect the GDP numbers, right?
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, we saw this release from them that they might release the GDP numbers, but they might announce some changes that they might make in terms of the calculation. All right?
Right.
So what them tell us now, sir, what them do is that them change what we call the base year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have what we call nominal GDP or current GDP. And what we call growth is measured in terms of real GDP.
Yeah.
So what I say, when you produce certain goods and services, like the production for this year, inflation is built in it, right? So in order to get the real value of what you produce, you have to take out inflation out of it. You follow me?
Okay.
Right. So we used to use 2007, right? So we had to add up all of the inflation between 2007 and the first quarter of this year and subtract it from the nominal value of production to get the real value of production.
Yes.
All of a sudden, them tell us, boy, they might change it to 2015.
They're changing the base year to 2015. Were there requirements set in for how you change the base year and if it should change or when does it change?
No.
So there was no requirement to change it?
No. They must come up suddenly with this thing. You follow me?
Yeah.
All right. Now, it automatically means once you change the base year, and bring it to the more current period of time, it means that you take out some of the inflation outside. So if you use 2007 base year to calculate GDP up to the fourth quarter of last year, if you now move to 2015 to calculate GDP for the first quarter of this year, you must get a higher GDP.
Right, so you take out 7 years of inflation outside.
You get the point.
But Ralston, you remember every time we talk about statin and what they're coming with and they are supposed to come.
Yeah, them all reach to them. Yeah.
I always said to you, do you think that there will be government interference with statin?
Yep.
So am I to understand from what you are saying to me that there have been some interference or allegedly some interference with statin?
Well,
because could statin, hold on, the question is, could statin change the base year by themselves or they got instruction?
No, man. They would have to hear from the Ministry of Finance about that, man. That would have to be a government thing. Yeah, I remember statin now have a permanent head, you know. Somebody is an acting head. So an acting person would be more vulnerable than somebody who is
permanent.
Yeah,
right.
Precisely.
Somebody who can say, no, me not do that because...
Precisely. Yeah.
So, Jamaicans, the understanding is that the Andrew Wellness-led administration, we don't know who, somebody from the administration, and if I am to make a guess, it would be somebody from the Finance Ministry.
Ministry of Finance, that falls under the Ministry of Finance.
Or the Prime Minister himself.
Or the office of the Prime Minister, it can't come from nowhere. Nobody else can interfere in that matters.
So they made these changes. And what are the results now, Ralston, of moving the base year to check your GDP?
All right.
From
so the base year,
2007 to 2015.
Yeah, that gives you a lower inflation. Lower inflation means higher real GDP.
Yes.
Apart from that, what them do, them split out the We used to call it transport, storage, and communication sector.
Hold on.
Hold on,
Ralston. Don't go to them new sector there yet, because I want the people to know what is Jamaica's real GDP now?
Real GDP now is like $1 trillion.
1 trillion.
Yeah, nominal GDP at 3.842 trillion. So nominal GDP is 3 times real GDP because of inflation. So if you take out some of the inflation, it means that real GDP gets closer to nominal GDP.
Right. So based on the new base year that they are using, real GDP is now 1 trillion.
Yeah, man.
All right. Let's go to the other changes that they have made in statin. Let's go.
Yeah, what I'm saying now is that normally there was a classification called transport, storage, and communication sector. What them split it out and have a sector now what them call information and communication.
So this is like a new industry.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Them say that grew by 6.4%. That recorded the highest growth of all the sectors in the economy.
But grow from what? Because if it is new, where was it last year? It wasn't there last year. But
no.
this was this in another industry last year?
It was grouped with the transport storage. We used to call it transport, storage, and communication.
Right. And them call it what they call it now?
Yeah, them split it out now and call that information and communication. And then that recorded the highest growth of all sectors in the economy. So the new sector recorded the highest growth of all sectors, 6.4%.
6.4%.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then now, the transport grew by 1.9%.
Yes.
You follow me? And then them come with a sector now, them call public administration and defense.
What is that? What does that?
Well, they need to tell us, even the most sympathetic critic like Donovan McDonald said, what the hell is this? Because what the hell is this? And then said that grew by 1.3%. Public administration and defense is more an expense to the country rather than a growth sector. So even a man like Donovan I said, what the hell is this? Yeah?
Yes.
They might take the thing to the ridiculous. Them say that grew by 1.3%. And then them come with one now what them call other services.
Other services.
Which them say grew by 1%.
So it is only. What about agriculture?
Agriculture grew by 3.1% in the goods producing sector, manufacturing by 1.7%, mining by 0.7%, and construction by 1.4%. So the goods producing sector grew by 2%, and the services sector grew by 0.8%. But interestingly, normally the usually say tourism are the biggest growth sector within the services sector. The new sector that them create, information and communication, was the biggest growth, 6.4%.
Where's tourism?
So a new sector is the fastest growth in the services sector.
Where is tourism?
Tourism was like 1%.
Grew by 1%.
Mm.
Now, if we had not have these new sectors, Ralston, is what? 3 of them or 4 of them?
Call them 4. We don't have no growth.
So if we hadn't put in these new sectors, we would still be in a recession, or does this 1.1?
Hold on, man. Hold on. It have been not in a recession. It have been in a deeper recession.
So
between the changes of the base year and the creation of new sectors, that is how they get the 1.1% growth.
So they had to
doctor the books.
Tailor the books.
Yep.
To get 1.1%?
1.1%
growth.
Yep.
By your analysis, after 3 quarters of decline, are we still in a recession?
Well, them would have said now the 1.1% would have suggest them on the recovery path. But we'll wait to see what is going to happen in the second quarter. Because what we saw is that this quarter was filled with instability. All of the companies them that report either made losses or significant declines in profitability. We see the Bank of Jamaica struggling, dollar still closed at $160.60 yesterday, despite the heavy central bank intervention and all of those things.
How much did the central bank spend on the dollar this week?
Well, last week they spent $110 million. So since the start of this year, they've done $580 million US. And they map up and they map up 130 billion Jamaican dollars.
But we're sure I was asking how much they spent this week. We know they spent what? 45 million Monday?
Yeah, man. Them never go back in the US dollars. Them
so it's
map up some 42 billion in CDs. Jamaican dollars.
And they spend 45
million. What I think
million
want people to understand, bro, are two ways them intervene, you know. Them either go into the reserves and use US dollars, or then take out Jamaican dollars out of the system.
So people have less money to buy the US dollar.
People have less money to buy, yeah.
Now, the whole thing about doctoring these books, Ralston, when you go back, is it that we are going to just keep this base year of 2015? Was it a wise idea, though, to move the base year from 2007 to 2015?
Well, I believe that if you are going to do that, you can't just do that suddenly, so because it's a distort the thing. So it's a distortion we get, you can't just do it, so.
How should it have been done?
Well, them should have, what I said, them should have wait until the end of a party, just give the people them notice and say, at the end of the fiscal year, this is what we're going to do. Or at the end of the calendar year, this is what we're going to do. You can't just come sudden when the economy is in a slump, because everybody must get suspicious. The economy is in a slump, and you just come 2 days before you announce the GDP for the next quarter and say, by the way, we'll make some changes, you know.
So would it be fair then for me to assume, and people, I'm not making an ass of myself and you, but I'm going to assume, would it be fair to assume that Statin submit their findings to the Ministry of Finance, showing that we have another decline? The ministry said to them, say, no, this not going to go to the country. Go back. Do these things. Them get them consultants and them actuaries and everything, and work out this kind of doctoring, because this seems like major surgery was done.
Or it could be proactive that the ministry makes sure to Statin to make sure say we don't release nothing like that again. Yeah, to show say another decline.
But the reason why I'm looking at it that way, Ralston, he said it was just last week that Statin called a press conference to say that we are making these changes. So it leaves me to believe that his major surgery was done to doctor the books.
Yeah, and I'm saying to you that I don't believe that the initiative came from Statin. I believe that the initiative would come from the authorities. And I said, make sure to not release nothing where we have a negative thing, because remember, them had already started say that them on the recovery part and them thing.
Definitely.
And worse like how you have somebody acting at Statin, yeah, they have to take the instructions.
Right, because the person at Statin don't have security of tenure in that job.
Precisely, you get the point.
You are told what to do, and that person wants to suck up to everybody so he can actually get the job if possible.
Precisely.
Now, when we look at the whole of this, Ralston, people are going to say this is an election ploy. What say you?
Yeah, man, I mean, I agree. I agree, because guess what? There's a disjuncture between the 1.1% growth recorded and what is really happening on the ground with the companies that are listed on the stock exchange. Remember, our companies producing.
Yes.
So the GDP number is supposed to measure the production of the companies.
Yes.
So all of the companies, them are lose money and the GDP increase.
Yes, because we hear it every morning. If you listen, people,
we have to deal with them things every day. We pull them things every day. We depend on the stock exchange website. We have to write all of the reports about them things.
Yeah.
All of the big companies will produce and make less profits or make losses. So how the GDP increase and the man they lose money? Where the money are going? Now see?
Metro Siaga company profit tumbled by 87% last week.
Yeah, man. In profits move from millions to thousands. Yeah. In profits move from millions to thousands, and that is why them start all a different stance in relation to the FID issue. You know, it's not because them concerned about Jamaica. The economic thing affect them in them pocket now, so them start talk out.
Yeah, because finally we hear the churches coming out, we hear the Small Business Association coming out, we hear the PAHO coming out now saying that they want the information why the job description was changed so that
it's all about money. Them start feeling it at them bottom line now, so they must say, "Oh, we have to show this government so we don't really approve of some of the things with them do." Yep. And since that are the issue out there now, them start weighing on that issue. But it's all about selfishness. It's all about their money, their pocket.
Ralston, we talk about real GDP and nominal GDP. And we talk about GDP itself, the debt to GDP. But what is Jamaica's real debt?
If we have a measure debt to GDP using real GDP, yeah, would have be like over 100% still.
Right.
Yep.
But what I want you to say to my viewers, how much money Jamaica owe locally and internationally? What is our debt? What is our real
debt burden at 2.3 trillion.
$2.3 trillion. That's what Jamaica.
Right. So if we were to use
and this
real
is US,
GDP,
is US dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
If we were to use real GDP, it means that the debt to GDP would be like 143%.
So if we use real GDP, the debt would be like 143%.
Yep. But what we do now, they measure debt to GDP in terms of nominal GDP. That is why we're at the 60%.
Right. I want to go back to 2016. What was our real debt in 2016?
As I said, the debt at that time was like $2.2 trillion thereabouts. So it hardly moved down.
No, but this would have moved down if it was 2 trillion or even 2.2. You just said it is now 2.3 trillion. So it would have been increased a little.
Yeah, man.
So when we talk about bringing down the debt, and the government said that they have been able to bring down the debt. And I listen to him carefully because, yes, I know the debt to GDP is down. But if you just stop at bringing down the debt, is that really true?
No, man, them things are just con game, man. Remember, I say, them man, they understand, so the people them don't understand. That's why when we dep on them program, I teach. You mean, right. So the people them don't understand.
So that's why that's why I ask simple questions so that my simple listeners can understand. Are we really bringing down the debt? And I'm stopping at debt.
Not in absolute terms. We are bringing down the ratio.
The ratio.
So we are bringing down the amount of debt we hold as a percentage of the nominal GDP. You follow me?
So is the debt to basically what it is that we are producing on our collaterals that really work out the debt to GDP, to your gross domestic product, what we have compared to what we owe. It's a ratio.
Yes, man. And remember, that ratio is based on inflation-driven GDP. You follow me?
Yes.
If you were to use your real GDP, it would be higher.
And that is the one you said would be at 143%.
Yeah, man. That's why I want people to understand these concepts. Because even if you understand certain concepts, the whole time I chat a full system I chat. But to know the people don't understand.
And that's why I'm bringing this point forcefully this morning. Our debt is higher now than it was in 2016.
Yeah, man.
We owe more money than we owed in 2016. So when you hear the Prime Minister coming out and say we have been able to bring down the debt, if him stop at debt, it is a lie. If him got debt to GDP, now that is true.
Yep.
Very good. Now, Ralston, Statin also said that they are going to release the census result. Did I get that clear?
Yeah, that them said. I want them said by September or something like that.
By September, they are going to release the census result. What do you make of that, Ralston?
Well, let's see. Let's have to wait and see.
No, but we know that the census have not been completed.
Precisely. We're not seeing nobody out there the field in the census. We're not
I
seeing
have
a
not
correction.
been counted. So
nobody not come to me. Nobody not come to me neither. And nobody not go to nobody with me no neither.
So tell me, that's why I'm asking you what you make of that announcement that they are going to release census figures.
That's about another con game, another bogus game. All of those institutions are losing credibility. Yeah, you see that? Credibility of those institutions, we have to start check them now, because the political interference, because we know of the controversy related to the census. We know you have no restarting of the census. We don't see no census take up on the road and do no work and everything. So how them all release results?
That is a concern for me.
Yeah, but it must be a concern, man. How them all release results of something that is not completed?
Did the government spend the entire $4 billion that was allocated for the census?
And some people, other people them still not getting a pay and all of them something. So
you are saying that the entire $4 billion was spent?
Well, Statin need to tell us. They need to tell us.
But the country have a serious trust deficit, Ralston.
Yeah, man.
We don't trust the leaders anymore.
Yeah, and you know what the problem now? First time, even if you don't trust the leaders, you could not trust the technicians. We don't trust the technicians anymore.
Why don't we trust the technicians anymore?
Because I want to see them do. Look what happened up at PAHO. Yeah, and look what we see come up now starting now. So it was first PAHO trying to doctors to give them no recession, 3.3, 0.8, and then we turn out 3 consecutive quarters of decline, which is more than a recession. Deeper than we think, 5.5, 2.4. Then Statin comes down and says, we can't see the play now. Statin comes down and says, boy, we have to release a number will show so we'll come out of the recession. Or them call Statin on the phone, or them tell Statin and give them instructions and say, make sure to release a number will show so we'll come out of the recession. And then Statin will say, oh, by the way, what the best way to do it is that we're going to reduce the base. Yeah?
No, continue. Sorry about that.
What I think that we're going to do, we're going to change the base here, and then we're going to create some new sectors. Yep. So that we get
All right. So
that don't look good.
No, it cannot. It cannot.
That don't look good, brother. That don't look good.
Ralston, the PAHO, them name? Dr. Wayne Henry.
Yeah, man.
They said to us that poverty was down to 8.2%. Have Statin said anything about poverty?
No.
Nothing at all?
No.
Isn't Statin the authority that is supposed to tell us where poverty is?
Statin is the authority for all them things, survey of living conditions and all of them things. Yep.
So why is in this report Statin not say nothing about poverty?
That what I say. And we can't say, poverty is being reduced and all of the firms and what people work with and make less money.
Hey, we are in a serious dilemma in Ralston.
You see it, man.
When our leaders are willing to lie to the people, blatantly lying to the people of Jamaica. And then you have some people who just follow them blindly.
Precisely. And I'm saying to you, it's even worse when the technicians, the people who are supposed to argue with data-driven analyses, adapt the data to suit the political directorate.
Is it that they are afraid of the political directorate, thus really going down the road of a dictatorship? So the government
but
tells
that's one
you,
reason.
The government
that's
tells
one reason,
you what
and
to
some
release.
of them are embedded.
Some of them are carrying.
Yeah, man. Some of them are embedded, man.
All right. And therefore, That is how our problem going multiply.
Yeah, man. Because if you have planned for wrong data, the other dissemination of accurate information is of paramount importance to the smooth functioning of market. So if you use wrong data, then you're going to get the result over again. Yeah? See there? That's why they give buyers baskets to carry water, because they move off of wrong data. Yeah? So when buyers intervene and things say the economy will catch up, that we earn more foreign exchange. Nothing like that. So if you intervene every single day and nothing happen. The dollar still can move from 160, 161 with all of the interventions.
But if we're not producing, Ralston, how it going to move?
So that's what I say. That's what I say. And a recession means that your production slow down. So if you're in no recession, yeah, you know, if you tell yourself so you're not in a recession, you never come with no corrective policy. And that is why there's no corrective policy. And that is why buyers are fair the way I do every day, because the country now earn a foreign exchange, because there's no policy to drive the earning of foreign exchange.
That have been my concern from day
one. Yeah, man, there's no
if
policy. But the man tell themselves that they're not sick, so they don't need a medicine.
There you go. If you don't admit that you're sick, you're not going to seek medical attention. And therefore, the sufferation continues.
That a go on. If them just suffer themselves, it is not bad and not too bad, but they must suffer everybody. That a go on. In denial.
So how long you see this continuous intervention by the BOJ, even though the IMF, you told us last time that the IMF told them to stop intervene? How long you see them continuing with this intervention?
As long as there's no policy, we believe them will intervene again next week with some more CD, because the dollar's still there at 168 or something. As long as there's no policy to reduce the demand for foreign exchange and to increase the supply of foreign exchange, this thing is going to continue.
The United States finally passed the bill that there's going to be a 1% tax on remittance.
That's going to be a big problem.
1%? You think 1% going to affect us bigly, Ralston?
Yeah, man, that's a big problem, man.
Because we're going to get less money.
Remember, sir, it's not only the 1% tax, you know. Remember the situation where a lot of people in the US right now, they're afraid to go to work because of what going on with Donald and ICE and all of them things. And the American economy itself is slowing down, so people are going to lose jobs eventually. Yeah? So all those things are going to affect us. Yeah? And we are not earning foreign exchange. Tourism is slowing down, them tell us that. So between the tourism earnings and the earnings from remittances is a problem, because they're not developing other sources of foreign exchange. You follow me?
Yes.
Yep.
So the Jamaican economy, there is no plan to grow this economy.
No.
There's
you
no.
See that, man? Even when we're in a recession, the man them say with them not in a recession, so them not come with no plan to deal with it.
And we squander $12.4 billion that could have used to drive agriculture, could have used to drive the culture and the creative industry, could have used to drive renewable energy sources in the country. Ralston, before you go, the license to GPS.
Mm-hmm.
I hear the minister in a very combative tone. What are the dangers if we get into a fight with JPS?
I find myself in a very bad situation. What the man needs to do is just negotiate with the man then quietly and try to get them things like the monopoly and distribution, things like passing on the 28% losses to the paying consumers, things like the guaranteed profits. Renegotiate them things with the man. They can't, but the man tell the world say, yo, if them boy don't do what we say, they know what happened to them. Them things can't work, man. And that's a government operate, and that's a big man operate. Yep.
The other question, Ralston. How much does Jamaica, the government of Jamaica, receive annually from JPS?
Well, them have 19%.
Right.
So whatever they make, them get 19% of dividend, 19.9% to be precise.
Have the government ever made a report on what they are collecting from JPS?
No.
Is that something that the country should be made aware of?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We should know how much dividend we get for 19. Yeah, what the share of the profits we get for 19.9%. Yes.
So why we're not getting those reports? Why we don't get those reports?
Because Colin, nobody not making a business with nothing. You know? It's the people them live, no better than them. We just drink rum and boom and we just listen to music and everything good. And government know that. That's why they operate the way they operate.
One other thing that really concerns me when I listen to the minister, and I've been saying this from Beryl, that even Beryl, instead of the minister join with JPS and get our lights up back quick and fast, he was fighting with JPS like we don't have a stake. We have, I call it 20%. We have 20% stake in JPS. We are partners, but we don't. Even in Beryl, we never sound like partners. We didn't send in the military to assist JPS to get back people light up quick and fast.
Correct.
We were fighting with JPS, and right now, when I listen to the minister, I see another fight coming.
Yeah, man. I wouldn't want that. Because this is energy supply. This is very important to the economy. We don't want anything like that. We want a smooth negotiations as our businesses negotiate. And when I say, him have to be careful, him not drive away other investors, because the man might say, yo, I saw the deal thing, a bad man thing, not deal. Enough man never come.
Yeah, because you're setting at a environment where people look at the environment and say, that's hostile. I not getting at that.
Precisely. So already, you have the crime, you have the exchange rate volatility, you have the low levels of productivity, and then now you damage the climate with this kind of thing where it look like you want to expropriate people things. I want to say all the communists and socialists and stuff there.
All right. So I did an interview with Philip Palwell a few weeks ago, and he made it clear that we are paying 20% for losses to the JPS, people who are stealing light. And he also told us that when the PNP leave government in 2016, our renewable sources was 12.1% of our supply. That has not increased by not even 1%.
Yeah, man.
He said that he brought down the price of electricity in Jamaica to 20 cents per kilowatt hour. Where was it before?
Over 40 cents. Yeah, man.
But where was it before? Where did he bring it down from? What was it before? Can you remember?
Well, we were up to about 45 cents, 50 cents thereabouts,
And he brought it back down to 20 cents per kilowatt
hour.
Man. And was working on it. And right now we are between 40 and 50 cents per kilowatt hour. He's blaming the government and said it's a government issue why it went back up.
It's true, because they haven't done anything about it. They just gave them issue our requests for proposals and them add all the taxes to the thing too. It's true.
Ralston, let me thank you for coming on this morning. We're going to talk to Fenton Ferguson next about this dead baby thing.
By the way, the high cost of energy, that was part of the price for the 1.5 million.
Hold on. Go again.
The tax that them put on for energy, both gasoline and JPS, was part of the price to pay the 32 billion I'm telling you about for the 1.5 million scam that they used for win the election.
So that is why our electricity bill went up. Hello. Thank you for bringing back that to the discussion.
Yeah, man. You don't forget, man. Remember they nearly crucified me for that.
When you told them that the 1.5 could not be revenue neutral, one of the tax that they added was to energy, to the electricity bill.
Yeah, man. The electricity as also the tax on gasoline. Yeah, man.
Holy moly. So we're still paying for that 1.5.
Still paying for that 1.5. I get it.
Ralston, man, you're a teacher.
Yeah, man.
You are our teacher.
Have to do, teach the people, man. Yeah, man.
And I say to the trolls and the surrogates, go find some facts and beat that. Find some facts and beat that. It is because of the 1.5 why our electricity bill is so high. Go ahead, Ralston.
And just to put the icing on the cake, and then you can check it. Nigel Clark, apart from being in Brazil 2 weeks ago, he was on television, I think it was Wednesday night, saying that Jamaica have one of the highest electricity bill in the entire world.
Yeah, we know that. We knew that. We knew that. And that electricity bill is a direct responsibility of the Andrew Holness-led administration.
Administration, yep.
So
Yep.
when Philip Powell said we can bring down electricity bill by 50%, then he's right.
Yep, of course.
And we have to work towards that. If we want to produce more, see our manufacturers making more money, we have to work towards that.
And stop giving Mr. Biles baskets to carry water. As long as we don't bring down the cost of energy, whoever at the central bank, whether it's Mr. Biles or somebody else, they have baskets to carry water.
Ralston Iman, thank you very much. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, man.
Blessings,
all
my
right,
brother.
Blessed love. Yeah, man. Blessed. Cool.
Ralston the Guru Iman. Let me tell you something. All who are send me a Ralston disciple. Yeah. I am a disciple of anybody who talk truth and who can analyze the data and tell me the things them before them happen. Yeah? Truth. And if you can give me solid prediction based on your analysis of the data. Yeah, man. I am a disciple. I am a student of Ralston Iman. Let me go to one of my next brethren you know. Because this morning, we're teaching this morning. Pringle morning.
Morning, sir.
Wagwan.
Based on how this government behaves, you see?
Yes.
And based on how the minister transport behave.
Yeah.
Where you believe I go up with JPS?
Then that may I say we are looking at instability if this minister get in a fight with JPS. JPS own 80%. We have 20%. I mean, I agree that the license can renew the same way it is, you know.
Right.
But your approach now is what is scaring me.
Right.
This combative
An approach like that with a teacher. Eh?
Wait to teach me?
With a teacher. Based on the government, how they behave, and how the minister of transport behave, where that a teacher.
Just a teach me, say this is a dictatorship we are in, brother.
Our instinct, you know, look forward and say they have a buyer for you already.
Possibly. Hold on,
no,
Doctor.
possibly.
Let me connect you just a minute. Pringle, make we talk a little more because I have an interview set up with Dr. Ferguson that I want. All right. Caller, good morning.
Morning, Colin. Morning, my brother.
Neville, you're going to have to call me after I talk to Dr. Ferguson.
No problem. No problem.
Right. So let me get Dr. Ferguson on the line. Because, you see, we can't continue to run away from the truth, you know. We have to face the truth. And that's my mantra. To speak the truth. Speak it ever. Cost it what it will. You understand? So, we're going to Dr. Fenton Ferguson. Because when Dr. Ferguson was Minister of Health, we lost 18 babies in about 4 different hospitals. And the Jamaica Labour Party at the time insist that Dr. Ferguson had to resign. Portia had to fire him. Dr. Ferguson, being a man of integrity and humility, stepped aside. Dr. Ferguson, good morning.
Morning. How are you, Colin? And I shout out to your listeners at home and abroad.
Yes, of course. We have a whole heap of them, hundreds of them on this morning listening to you. Dr. Ferguson, a lot of them maybe know that the political trail is heating up. Maybe I've seen you a little bit around, but you have been out of the limelight for some time. What have you been up to?
Well, I have been back in my practice 2 days a week because although I was involved in politics, I never left going to conventions and conferences and even as Minister of Health, I made it compulsory that dental surgeons had to do 40 hours of continuous education every 2 years.
Because it's a
In order
practice.
to maintain their license.
Yes, yes.
And so I was at a minimal level, you know, sometime at Saturday or afternoon, do, you know, once, twice a month. So I'm back in the practice and I'm involved in a little real estate development also at this time.
Very well. Dr. Fenton
But I
Ferguson
have
is a
also
dentist.
been still involved with the party because I am the chairman of the Internal Affairs Commission of the party.
Yes.
That has been involved quietly, which is in keeping in my style with the issues we were having in terms of the early stage when it was a little rocky in terms of the unity.
Yes.
And thank God, 5 years later, we are at a place now where unity is at its best in the People's National Party.
Definitely. The camaraderie is up. Yeah, man.
Up.
Dr. Ferguson, give us a little background, if you will. What happened in 2015 with those babies passing away?
Let me just say, Colin, that when you look at that time, by Jamaica by 20, between 1990, when we were at 21 deaths per 1,000, as it relates to mortality. By 2013, we were at 12.
You're talking about newborns, right?
Newborns, yes. 12 per 1,000.
At 21?
Live birth. 12 per 1,000. You're coming from in 1990. 21.
In the 90s.
And you remember we came back to power as a government in 1989.
Yes.
In 1990, you had about 21
per
1,000 live birth terms of neonates, etc. And by 2013, we were at 12 per 1,000 live birth.
Right.
But the big point I want to make is that even then, the Millennium Development Goals of the United Nations at that time was to get to 12 per live birth by 2030.
And we were
2030.
And we were at that at 2013.
At 2013, we were there.
Beautiful.
At the same time, you're getting about 6 million babies dying across the world during that period. 3 million of whom would have been neonates.
Yes.
Of that 6 million. So Jamaica's performance at that time would have been seen as excellent.
Yes.
Against the background of the rest of the world and the Millennium Development Goals objective.
Yes.
What happened? I was in, because I want to clear up some of the arguments out there that this minister dodged.
Yes.
During the period, and it's a discussion and a discourse that have started by particular interest group to give the impression that I was negligent as minister in responding to the baby challenge at that time.
Yes.
The truth is, I was at a conference, a retreat in St. James on the Friday evening. It would have been sometime in October. And when I heard the news, the Friday afternoon, I was back in Kingston meeting with the board of the university hospital that night in relation to the story. By Saturday morning, I met with the full board of the university hospital.
Mm-hmm.
When I came out of that meeting, I called the director of the Pan American Health Organization, who was my very good friend, Dr. Carissa Etienne.
Yes, I remember the name.
And by Tuesday, when I was having my press conference and going to Parliament, there was a delegation from PAHO in Jamaica come as a result of my call to her. And they were here with clearly defined objectives relative to the outbreak that we were experiencing. The fact is, and that is one of the things when I spoke in Portland, I made mention. Yes. Coming out of that, there was a comprehensive report coming from PAHO in relation to infection control and the things we need to do as a country, even in spite of our performance over time. We needed to do in order to minimize the level of outbreaks. I have called on the present minister to make that report available to the country. And later I will tell you why.
You mean that report from 2015?
From 2015. That report that was done by PAHO.
And that has not been made public since?
If it was, I have not seen it, and I have not heard any discussion. And clearly, they would not have acted upon it because Jamaica's situation, I was looking for our debt to
live births
for live birth at this time. I didn't find it, but I'll get it and get it to you even off there at some point.
Definitely.
That you'll be able to bring it to the country.
Yes.
But the point I am making, Colin, is that when the thing took place, immediately the machinery of the Ministry of Health came into play. The public health officers, the epidemiologists, all the persons who are involved in that kind of operation, because it is a coming together of the team, whether at the ministry or at the hospital that would have been affected.
Mm-hmm.
We started the work. As I said, I called PAHO on the Saturday. By Tuesday morning, I was having a press conference speaking to the nation about the breakout. That has never happened in the present administration. By Tuesday morning, I am talking about hearing on Friday evening, and by the Tuesday of the new week, I was having a press conference and leaving from the press conference to go to Parliament. Google and see if you don't see me make a comprehensive. That's why I'm saying a lot of the journalists especially nationwide.
Mm.
They have not done fundamental work in dealing with issues that demand research as journalists in order to respond. They take the play where you are talking about taking the thing along political lines rather than the fact. Because my presentation, ask them to go on Google now.
Mm-hmm.
And if Google about the babies saga, and you will see my presentation to Parliament on that Tuesday, days later. And the fact is, if I'm to lay it on the table, in relation to the special care nurseries at the time, there were about 483 babies who would have been taken to the special care nursery during that period. Of that number, in terms of statistics, 45 persons or babies of that 483 are what we would consider 9.3%.
Hold on, Dr. Ferguson. I just found something here. It says in Jamaica, the number of deaths per 1,000 live births, infant mortality rate in 2024 is estimated to be 18.30%.
You understand what I'm saying? And we're talking about 12 in 2013. 12 per live birth.
Yeah.
So you have brought it into context. And you would have seen the number of deaths between last year and this year, over 200.
We have over 200 deaths
and those are the ones reported. Those are the ones reported. Like all in December last year, 20 babies died.
December last year, you're saying 20
babies died in December of last year.
Just December alone.
Have been like that. And since this year, you tell me of one occasion that the Minister of Health came out early to say this was. Remember what happened on the occasion, some of those occasions where the minister was saying he wanted to keep it quiet.
Kind of want people panic.
It a certain way because he never want to excite. And so why would, during my time when I was called upon to resign,
yes,
I got to the country, the nation, 3 days after that board meeting with UE and having gotten a report from the other impacted hospital, especially UE and Cornwall Regional, Victoria Jubilee. And then there are others, because you have regional hospitals.
Yes.
But the difference even now, Colin, you're talking about 24 babies in one hospital in 1 month.
What have you heard from the minister and from the government at large as it relates to this baby, this 24 in the Victoria Jubilee? What understanding have you gotten? What is the cause? What is the cause of death and all of that? What have you gotten from that?
Well, what you're picking up is that there was no infection, and that they calling on mothers to be more responsible. I will take the opportunity. I will take the opportunity at this time to again apologize to the nation when I slipped I was on my feet for over an hour in Parliament when I made that presentation, being bombarded by every member of the opposition, technically speaking.
Yes.
When I said they were not babies in the true sense. And, you know, I have said it before and I've said it up. I will take the responsibility of that slip.
Of that slip in your speech, yes.
It was in the speech. It was when I was under pressure, and I'm going to tell you I was not under pressure. I was under pressure.
They were coming at you from... They were coming at you from every corner of the Parliament.
Every corner of the Parliament and civil society, because they turned the matter into... I asked of you, and I asked of your listeners this morning, go and Google Martin Henry, who wrote an article during that time. He was called as a journalist to be a part of that plot to bring down Ferguson. He was called.
Yes.
And he went and did a remarkable research as it relates to neonate and the mortality rate and all of that.
Hold on, Dr. Ferguson. Hold on. I have a listener, Colin James. She's saying, please highlight that the over 200 deaths are only in one hospital. Can you imagine?
I just said that a while ago.
No, but you never said it was one hospital. You said over 200 last year. And I thought it was across Jamaica.
No. That was last year at Victoria Jubilee.
200.
The other point is that, remember, you know, Colin, you have regional hospitals. You have type B hospitals out there.
You have type C.
And you have type C, but I'm saying the big hospitals. Babies die almost every day.
Yes.
So when you're getting this out of one hospital, Victoria Jubilee, what we need to do is to call on Tufton to say, give us an update.
But hold on, Dr. Ferguson.
As to what has happened in the other hospital during the same time.
Definitely, but hold on. Because we have to go back to that PAHO report from 2015.
Absolute.
Did you see that? Did you see that report?
I saw the report. I was looking for, because that's 10 years ago.
Yes.
And I was looking for my copy. I'm sure I will find it because I would have it on thumb drive. So I will search to find it.
But that report...
But I know that it is in the ministry.
But that report was not made public.
No, I don't. Not to my knowledge.
And therefore, here we are, full circle. Because, and let me just remind my listeners and viewers, this is not the first amount of baby that has died under Christopher Tufton watch.
No. No. It's a serial.
This is not the first amount that has come to the public either.
And on every occasion, it was the public who either it would have been leaked.
Yes.
But we have never come to the table to say we have a problem.
And every time he finds somebody else to blame, right now he's blaming the mothers.
Absolutely.
But Dr. Ferguson, I think...
You remember on one occasion it was vaginal issues that he would have placed on mother to child transmission.
Yes.
That sort of thing.
Yes.
And I'm saying, yes, there are cases that can be transmitted from mother to child, and also from medical, the kind of care expected from the medical team. I am not passing any judgment on the medical team.
No.
What I am saying is that he has never taken responsibility for anything he has done. And, you know, I have said in the past, and persons might have gotten upset, but I will say it again, that classism, racism is still alive and well in Jamaica.
Yes.
What Tufton has gotten away with as Minister of Health, and persons laud him to say that he is a man who studied marketing. Yes, you studied marketing, so it helped you. I would say yes. During my time, we never enjoyed the best in terms of social media and thing, and I am not the kind of person going to use that kind of skill alone in order to deceive the Jamaican people.
And you're not a liar.
You can rationalize why you don't tell them what has happened and take some responsibility for it too.
And you're not a serial liar.
No, never was.
I never will be.
Remember, you know, remember one night I asked Dr. Ferguson the fact that you would have got the PAHO report. What did you do? Remember, we didn't call it a week or so. I was transferred to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. You know?
Yes.
It wasn't any long time that I remained minister after that.
I know, and that's why I asked you if you saw the report, because I know you didn't stay there much longer.
No, I didn't stay there much after no length of time.
But have you heard, hold on, have you heard Dr. Tufton saying that they are not going to make the mistake that the PNP make? Because maybe what Dr. Tufton is saying, it was a mistake for you to have moved because you never do nothing wrong.
But you see, what he has done, look at Cornwall Regional. Look at the cost overrun at Cornwall Regional. Look at all those other missteps. You believe that Fenton Ferguson, even as a dental surgeon, would have escaped the wrath of opposition like that if I had made even one of those errors that he has made over time?
Couldn't.
On every occasion he failed to tell the country. The people have leaked it. People, and I have been very decent in all my time as the man who stood there. And I'm going to be doing my book that I will speak to certain things, that even with as it relates to sick B and all that. But they want to define my tenure as Minister of Health as one around sick B and the baby thing. I regret the death of those neonates.
Yes.
And I believe that as long as you are in a hospital system, you will lose babies. Ask anybody.
Yes.
Whether just a general medical practitioner or the specialist. You will lose babies because some babies you are able to save, and you are able to save them too because you have the necessary backup ventilator and all of the other things needed when there is a crisis.
Yes.
But when you using bag and so on, trying to save a baby that is, you know, are we not saying? Because most of those babies that died during night time, they were like premature, less than 7 months.
Yeah.
They weighed less than 2 pounds. You know, and in many instances, they were also very ill. I am saying, during that time, I begged the opposition, don't put politics into health and education. Because there are some things that will, every minister of health that will come after Tufton, after we win the next election, and Dr. Dawes come to the table, babies will die. The problem is, just as patients will die from diabetes or high blood pressure, cancer, and the other things.
Yes.
But it is going to come back down to how you manage it, how you come in terms of your compassion, and all that. And that is why I myself was so depressed when under pressure I made that error. And I'm a man who would have been very sensitive towards women. I have 4 sisters. It's 4 sisters I have and a mother. And that's what I grew up with as the only boy. So, you know, the sensitivity.
Yes.
When it comes to women, it's something I grew up that way. That is why when you say evil, that incident in Morant, the urban center, and many persons were saying, boy, Doc, you should have walked away, you should have done this. That's not how I grew.
I am happy that you segue to that, Dr. Ferguson.
Yes.
I was watching it live. And when I saw it, I was hurt to my core. How did you feel standing up there with this lady saying all that she said?
And look, I was there sitting, you know, and we greeted well, both of us earlier.
Yes.
Because I've never been a tribalist. I've never been known to be a tribalist. In my 27 and a half years as member of parliament.
Right.
But she went up. When she called on me, I figured that she was doing it in the context of being the member of parliament who was involved in the process prior to her becoming MP.
Yes.
And so it would have been greater in saying you were there and, you know, I have taken over, this is the thing, but she did the total opposite.
Yes.
The total opposite. And I wasn't there, although I was invited personally. I was there representing the leader of opposition.
Yes.
I can't be there representing the leader of opposition. And who was not on the program, by the way. And to allow myself to go, you know, low in order to play to the gallery. I've never been that type of person.
Right.
And so I stood there, I listened to her with the nonsense, and I said to myself, you know, I need to get back active because I never believed that you could have that kind of indiscretion.
Yeah. It was
in operating like that.
Called you up and embarrass you. And then when the party leaders try to deal with it, they want to now turn it on the party leader.
Yeah, I know. Ask James Robertson. James Robertson, who had been over in West as a labor man. You know that James might not be the most popular relative to himself and person.
Yes.
St. Thomas will tell you we had a very civil, and continue to, a very civil relationship, myself and James. A very civil relationship. James would go to function, I am not there, and he will say, don't worry, I can talk for Dr. Ferguson because so and so and so. I believe because there is a life after politics, and there is a thing called decency. that must be in politics and out of policy. You understand what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Colin?
I don't want to segue too much, Dr. Ferguson, but on the whole of that, I just want to bring back my listeners' memory to the Southern Coastal Highway. Both
right.
yourself.
Before I go to that, just give me 1 minute to say something about a program that I was very instrumental before we lost government. You might have heard about PROMA.
Yes.
PROMA. Program for the reduction of maternal and child mortality.
Yes.
I was the minister even during the very time, before that time, before 2015 November, October. I was the minister who sat with Dr. Bell from PAHO local, having discussions for that project that came into being during my tenure. By the time I left and we lost government, we had done significant training. We had put on the table the things of special ambulances, to do dependency units in hospital, the regional hospitals, and bus command to children. But I left that to Tufton, who had never given me credit for it. Never gave me credit for it.
I'm not going to give credit for it. But that program is still happening right now, Dr. Ferguson, isn't it?
It is still happening right now, where they are working on hospitals by 22 million euros. You work that out, 22 million euros. The biggest grant the Minister of Health would have gotten from the European Union.
And
you understand what I'm saying?
And where is that now? How is it operating
the very same thing.
No. Dr. Ferguson, you hearing me?
Yes, I didn't hear that last part.
No, I wanted you to give us an update of how that program is progressing.
The ProMax?
Yes, the ProMax.
Well, I have called on the minister, and I want you to continue the PAHO report and the update on, because how could you be flipping? How could you be flipping when you get a 22 million euros project to deal with the very same maternal and child mortality, and we are slipping instead of improving.
You talk about how they came at you, Dr. Ferguson, when this thing happened in 2015. You also spoke about the blunders of Cornwall Regional Hospital.
Oh,
but
man,
there are so many other blunders by this government, while the PNP as opposition allow them to get away with this. You think if it was the PNP in government, with all that has happened under this administration, that the PNP could still be sitting there at this time?
No, they would have brought us to our knees. When I told you that, you know what the MP for Western Portland did during that period? Put a little hole, like a little hole pilot in a I said put on a truck, showing what the government was doing and the ministry, and that was supposed to be a ventilator.
Hold on.
That is how far they went.
Repeat that for me. The member of parliament for West Portland, what you said he did?
What is what?
No, you were telling us what the member of parliament for West Portland did at the time. What? Repeat that for me.
I am saying that he attacked me and he spoke out, reported in the papers. You can go back and do your research, to say that a truck it looked like a truck body, open truck, was carrying a piece of something, certainly not a ventilator, and saying that that is how we transport our ventilators in the ministry.
Wow.
And he was one of the most vociferous critics. He was saying he wouldn't sit in the parliament. He wouldn't sit in the parliament with me. Having done that, where is his voice now?
I want to remind you of
and
something.
And you would have known that he's not the brightest. What does he know about medicine or any of these things? He was the brightest architect.
Hold on, Dr. Ferguson. Dr. Ferguson, I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this.
This government does not hear about your health. I hear the spirit of a little baby crying, saying, why did the people keep the Labour Party government in? If the Labour Party government was in, I would still be alive. I hear the spirit of the 18 babies that have died because of the consequences of this government. 18 babies have died. She don't need to pass the law. She don't need to lock up anybody to demonstrate her real care and concern for the children of this nation. All she needs to do is to fire the Minister of Health.
You hear that, Dr. Ferguson?
Yep, I heard it, and I still would have heard it too. This was led by the Prime Minister on the campaign trail. No fail. Now you hear the present minister saying that what we are trying to do is to evoke the emotions of the mothers. They organized and brought out the mothers during my time. They brought them out. They turned the matter into a full-blown political issue, and I warn them, don't do it. And that is why some persons are upset, saying that that is that kind of karma relative to what is happening now. But it don't matter as it relates to stuff, it is karma in the sense of saying the same thing is happening now. Nothing will happen to Tufton. Nobody is not calling outside of some low tone PMP call for Tufton removal. There's never been any sustained call for Tufton resignation during his almost 10-year tenure as Minister of Health.
Just listening to that.
Blundering over and over and over. I was as minister, spent $14.5 million to set up 2 centers of excellence for cancer care. When I came to the ministry, I found the condition using old cobalt machine that was damaging also healthy tissue. We set up and started well, by the time we're out of government, the Cornwall Regional one was 90% just waiting on equipment. We brought the Linux machine, the Linux accelerator machine,
yes,
the most advanced in the region and beyond, to Jamaica, because there was only one in Jamaica in the private sector. It was costing a full course of radiation over $1.6 million. We brought in the Linux to go from that to zero. I didn't get no credit for those things. I set up 4 centers of excellence across Jamaica in my first 2 years as minister. Isaac Barrant in St. Thomas.
Yes.
The Santa Cruz Health Center in St. Elizabeth. Claremont in St. Anne. Darlington in Westmoreland. 4 centers of excellence, which was supposed to ease the pressure on the hospitals and to be able to do minor surgeries, like hernias and that sort of thing.
Yes.
They literally phase them out in terms of what was intended. We have ambulance bay that in case of anything, patient could run go from there to Princess Margaret. All those things abandoned. The centers of it, they change the name. They do all sorts of things.
Dr. Ferguson.
In order to build my reputation as a Minister of Health. We did 129 health centers, either build or refurbish.
Beautiful.
During my tenure.
Yes. And I can say to the people of Portland, the central air condition unit that is in the Port Antonio Hospital was put there while Dr. Fenton Ferguson was Minister of Health.
And we did a significant thing for HIV. During my tenure, we brought mother to child transmission of HIV to 0.
Wonderful.
Mother to child to 0 during that time.
Dr. Ferguson, the final question I want to ask you. You just listened to the Prime Minister spoke a while ago. What would you want to say now to Prime Minister Andrew Holness?
I would say to the Prime Minister, if he felt that passionate about the situation in 2015, that you would have come to the nation as opposition leader and leader of the Jamaica Labour Party about those babies. And I will repeat, 18 babies, 18 neonates who would have died, would have been 18 too much. But the matter was not dealt with in the context of a medical issue and crowded in principles. It became a political thing, and I'm saying to the Prime Minister, we are now 5 years later. I mean, not 5, but 10 years later. And I am now saying, if the man of 2015 who felt that strongly about Fenton Ferguson and Portia Simpson firing me, I am saying what has happened in that 10 years, we know something, but what has happened that would make you in 2025 with more babies, with babies one a day in the last month, and you believe that the babies would have up to the 25th of last month, 24. You think no more babies now die for the rest of that month?
I said it this morning.
Until die now.
I said it this morning that if we check, we're going to find that a lot more has died.
And if you say there wasn't an outbreak, it means that you are not doing anything to prevent and to control that outbreak. You understand what I'm saying,
yes.
Colin?
Yes.
So the numbers, if they are to be open with us and the country, ask Tufton to tell us what is the number today, the 5th of July. I am saying that the Prime Minister needs to do the right thing. If it was right in 2015, it can't be wrong in a worse scenario in 2025. And so, on the basis of that, I am clearly saying, do the right thing, Prime Minister Holness.
Dr. Ferguson.
And for whatever reason, all the other reasons that you would have had in the past, combined with this, I don't believe you have an option in relation to
what you're supposed to do.
Tufton. Last act.
Dr. Fenton Ferguson, let me thank you for coming on this morning. It was really a pleasure.
I am very happy. And I will give you an update on the highway on another occasion.
Yes, we'll definitely.
I'll give you an update on the highway on another occasion.
Yes.
The highway that is still floundering because they have used bad material as base material. And every day they are digging up. Every day they are digging up the new highway. It's costing and will cost the government billions of dollars.
And we saw we saw a video yesterday showing an area that they are digging up out there again. So sad. So sad. Thank you very much, Dr. Ferguson. Been a pleasure. We'll talk.
Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the opportunity to be on your program. I want to say to the listeners, I might have sounded a little strident. It's not my normal mood, but I am deeply hurt by how things have progressed. And I've remained silent over this period.
Definitely.
But as I say, I'll be writing my book. And there are things that you will know.
Definitely.
And
remember the PAHO report. We would really love to have an insight into that PAHO report.
I'm going to start, but I want also public pressure to bring it to the fore. Public pressure to bring it. You want to update on COMAC, and you want the country to see what were the recommendations made in that report. And then you will see how you find substance, whether guilty or not guilty.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ferguson. Been a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
One love.
Thank those persons who had the time to listening to me this morning.
Definitely.
And I am very happy to have had the privilege on your program.
One love, Dr. Ferguson.
It is most important. But it's you.
All the best. Dr. Fenton Ferguson with us this morning. Sir. Them say the same knife where stick sheep, it also stick goat. And you see, we must never, ever rejoice over anybody downfall. We mustn't rejoice because we never know when our day is coming. So I want to thank Dr. Fenton Ferguson for the time this morning. Hello, good morning.
Colin, morning.
Junior Wagwan.
Me can't understand the new calculation or come up and starting. Why them adding on new areas and then do anything to compare it with what them say them have improved figures? That makes sense to you?
You see, I've been saying it to Ralston all the time. Ralston, you don't think that these people, because you can see people behavior. Yeah? You could see the behavior of this administration. And that's why I was of the concern that they would get to starting and mess around the whole thing. And so they did.
So, by the way, the new calculation might be the services what them provide at Backroad and Gemini and Polyrai, I don't know.
You're too dangerous.
Because remember, say you have people in Jamaica and high places but visit those places regularly, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So they might just encapsulate it. The other thing they want to look at before I run away again.
Yeah.
I drop in a hole that is 5 foot 5 inches deep. Right?
You're dropping a hole that is 5 inches deep.
Yeah, I drop in a hole that is 5 feet 5 inches deep. and somebody throw one pan down in the hole that is about 2 feet high. I come out of the hole?
Well, it depends if you can. You said the hole is 5 feet deep.
Yes.
How tall are you?
No, I am only 5 inches tall.
You're 5 inches tall.
Yeah.
The hole is 5 feet deep.
Yes.
Somebody throwing a pan that is 2 feet.
Yeah.
So even if you get on top of that pan, you can't come out.
Aye. That's the state of the economy.
That is the state of the economy. So the 1.1% growth don't take us out of the hole.
No.
I saw Jeffrey Tavares a while ago in the studio. Jeffrey, come back. And I don't see you anymore. So Junior, I don't know how we're going to get out of this problem that we are in. But we are
you
in a
remember
serious...
the other day when I was talking to you about the crisis in the health thing, and I show you the racism that is in this country.
Yes, you did.
You realize it's the same thing Dr. Fenton highlighting again?
Yes.
I show you that this country is racism.
Racism.
Because it's because of the color prejudice in Jamaica why Fenton had to go, you know.
Yeah, man.
And you look
Fenton
at
was
why,
one of them brown boys, you know?
Of course. But I don't know if you know, you know. Fenton went to Arden, you know.
Oh?
And you believe that the Arden group would protect him, you know, but they never did.
They never did.
No.
All right.
We talk.
Blessings.
Come on, Cole.
Yeah, man. Conrad O'Brien.
Hi, Colin. How are you doing?
I am fine, thank you, my brother. How are you?
I'm very well, thank God.
All right. I see Jeffrey back in the room. Let me bring Jeffrey in. As well. He's back in the room, so let me bring on Jeffrey. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah, man. I have Conrad O'Brien. Hold on, I have Conrad O'Brien. And I have Jeffrey Tavares. Jeffrey, you're not hearing me? You're not hearing anything? All right, hold on. Let me see if I can ensure that Jeffrey can also hear. Jeffrey said I'm not hearing anything. I am hearing you. You're hearing me now? No, I am not hearing you, but I was hearing you a while ago. Are you hearing me, Jeffrey? If you're hearing me, give me a thumbs up. You're not hearing me? All right, hold on. Jeffrey, you hearing me now? I am hearing you loud and clear, but I don't know why you're not hearing me. You should be hearing me, Jeffrey. Not hearing me?
Not hearing you at all, Colin.
All right, just hold for me. I am hearing you. No, don't come out, because I am hearing you loud and clear, but you're not hearing me. Let me see how to hear you. But now you're hearing me, Jeffrey. No, you
not hearing you at all.
Not hearing me. All right, hold on. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, respect. I'm frustrated with where with our country, but as what Junior said earlier, I love that.
Yeah.
So if bright people are listening to conversation, there, the economist conversation now. The man that will drop in the hole, how long he can sustain in the hole? I mean, like, if live without food or water or what. So most of the people them have died and the rest them are dying. Yeah, so my thing now, the PNP, what Dr. Ferguson said, me are one of them where we believe in the country. He's a diated Jamaican. Yeah, so me are one of them will make one of the biggest error we ever make in my life. Me vote for Andrew Owens. 7 people go vote for him and make sure because we did want the change. So where I am, the big point is where happened in the PNP earlier, yeah, 9 years ago, is that the people them say good things were, yeah, but we want better. So we believe in a better, but we never know, say, at this would happen. So a lot of people will normally believe in a PNP always the things are move slow.
Yeah.
And as we say, the man, so the man don't know if one more bucket a come put on the hole or whatsoever. So some people would make a different decision, like sign on contract with somebody who say, boy, you want to fling out back the bucket because me I can't want a rope come. You understand? And that man out take the bucket and go and sell it.
Yes.
You understand? The way maybe the next man will then come back with more bucket, but I just luckily if you see in the hole and him did only have one at the time. So at that time PNP. So the point for me want to make. Yeah? Me always watching news and me one of them youth where we go Glen, we go school. Yeah. And we say everything we are going and not now, but here we with the PNP them.
Yeah.
Most of the youth them young. Them not know nothing where most of the thing that what them hear they know. Yeah, and then if you change their culture and you confirm them in a one way, after a while you can have them your way to talk to them and trick them.
Yes.
So when me I say two things with the PNP campaign, them have time and they have one money. The money is like every time you go up on one campaign, you have to spend certain amount of money.
Yeah.
So you have to know how you spend time and how you spend money.
Definitely.
So when them reach, more of them start share half of their time in at like 2. The earlier point, make some presentation with people can backtrack and talk the history of the PNP and what them have accomplished. Because some of we were even know, we don't remember some of the things, just like even school bus thing.
And you heard some of the things,
and
you heard some things with Dr. Ferguson talk about a while ago. We never even remember
the first
radiation machine will come at Jamaica. Dr. Fenton Ferguson was Minister of Health when that came. So people can get radiation for less than $1 million.
So I see quick the PNP them a keep make the JLP them stay in a power to finish off the rest of the way for the third term. Them want to keep secret. So we are say make the people them know what is brother, show them what is be done. That's why I'm look.
Hold on. Jeffrey, we are asking if it turn down. Why Jeffrey come out? We just didn't want you.
Anything in our background. Cause the feedback.
Yeah, because I know he's supposed to be able to hear us now. We are hearing him.
Yeah, so you can turn off the way in our background. Right. Yeah. So when me I say,
Jeffrey,
when a man go come with the reverse psychology all the time and we keep quiet, that are the wrong thing. So PNP not have no plan. A JLP not have no plan. Them did have plan like how them a move around and want to start cool bus or anything.
Yeah.
You should have did it 9 years ago. And what caused this country to go down in this whole way of dropping out? It's all because when them go in a government, everything, the sports, education with the breakfast feeding and who the pampart could then go check the guidance council and the pampart, you still get a lunch ticket. Everything in place, every institution. So all them have to do is continue with them, or if you can build up on them, you build up with them, but you drop everything and you destroy everything. You destroy sports, music, education, everything. So we destroy human capital. So me as what look upon a thing when you mean settlers colonialism. So if I know that, somebody have to go explain. But the PNP them need to do what them supposed to do. Make who know and who when remember. Yeah, you have a duty. If you not do that, you not do nothing.
All right, my brother.
Because
no respect.
The people them are go against the money and that's what the JLP them are go give them. Because JLP them are go show about enough money and it start already. With the crash program where Siaga they do and lose. Yeah.
All right, brother. But them all do it and lose too. Respect.
Yeah.
Obi, if you mute your mic, please unmute. Yeah, man. Obi, you're on mute. Unmute your mic.
Yeah, Colin. I'm here. I'm here, Colin.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the show. Jeffrey, are you hearing us now? Jeffrey, you're not hearing us still? Well, if Jeffrey not hearing us, we might have to get him on the phone because we are hearing him when he speaks. His mic is now mute. Let me unmute him, Conrad, and say, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you should be hearing us now. Hold on, Jeffrey. Let me do something else. Hold on. Let me do this. Are you hearing me now, Jeffrey?
Loud and clear,
Blessings.
The pain piece having a fabulous time now, loud and clear.
Go ahead, Conrad.
All right, Colin, good morning. Good morning to yourself. And just to mute your mic, please. Mute your mic, just please. Yeah, Colin, good morning to yourself. You're listening to my good friend and brother, Jeffrey Tavares. Colin, I am afraid I know no other way to communicate but by to speak the truth. And I reckon that last week when I was on the program, here. Oh God, what's that terrible noise in the background? I can hardly hear myself.
Go ahead, Conrad.
Yes.
We're hearing you.
Yes. So I was saying that, last week when I came on the program, I recognized that I create quite a sector because
Conrad, are you using a headset or you have us on speakerphone?
All right, let's see what's going on there.
Yeah, man. If you have us on speakerphone, take us off, or if you're using a headset.
All right, any better? Any better?
Yes, go ahead now.
All right, good. Last week when I came on, I recognized that I create quite a bit of factor because, I recognize that some people upset when you speak truth to power. But I can't help myself. I have to do it. So I'm going to start again this week by saying that we have two people who are offering themselves to leave this country. One, Mark Jefferson Golden, Marky G as I dubbed him, and Mark Golden, filing has been submitted, that is his financial statement have been submitted, certified, gazetted, and published. And indeed, he is as clean as a whistle, as they say. On the other hand, we have Andrew Michael Rodham Brogard Holness. He is not certified, not for 1, not for 2, not for 3, but going 4 years. And indeed, based on what is out there with us, he is under criminal investigation for illicit enrichment. That is where Jamaica is at the moment, and indeed, integrity matters. And we must continue to put this out there so that our people understand what is the lay of the land. I also want to say, Colin, last week in the economic discussion that we had, and we have been saying this ad nauseam, that what happened, the government basically was operating on one leg, and they were warned over and over by people like myself, you, of course, Ralston, Hyman, the opposition did so, to say that, listen, you need to change here, because it just can't be about paying down debt while you neglect all the other things that could basically add some growth to the Jamaican economy. So what did we saw? We saw the dereliction of our roads, our schools infrastructure, our hospitals, and all the public facilities that to make our people life better. Of course, we also saw the stagnation of our people. Where, to date, the minimum wage is $16,000, and the basket that Andrew Holness was going around with during 2016, that was $4,000 for that basket. No, there was a chicken in there. The $4,000 can't buy that size chicken that was in the basket at that material time. That is what we're seeing now, Colin. And that is the reason why. You see, whenever Andrew Holness take the road, at one point he said he could turn it up and turn it down. And the Jamaican people are saying to him, not so at all. And it is quite evident when you see Andrew Holness out there versus Mark Golden. Yesterday, Andrew was out there, and people scarcely look at him, while everybody was trying to touch the hem of the garment of Mark Golden. So that's the lay of the land.
All right, Obi, let's bring in Jeffrey. Jeffrey.
Yes, Colin, go ahead. I'm hearing it.
Yeah, man, you heard Conrad a while ago. You want to chime in on all of that?
and what is going on in this country of ours is that Jamaica is at a standstill right now. And if we don't wake up in this country, then God help us. I'm looking at a live feed right now of the People's National Party Road March. And why I drift away from the conversation is that when you see the massive of Jamaicans in Trelawney last night, and everywhere Mr. Golden stopped along the roadway yesterday, is that Jamaicans are saying they need a change of the guard. And when you see all of that last night, I see hope for this country. I see hope for Jamaica. We must wake up in this country. Because if we don't and take a stand, then who else will?
Nobody.
Everywhere the People's National Party members and stuff, Jamaicans embrace them. You know?
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. We're opening the phone lines 876-804-7072. We have Jeffrey Tavares from Make We Talk TV. We have Conrad O'Brien from News Talk 93 FM. One of the things, gentlemen, that I want to talk to you about this morning, though, is the issue of the school bus. Jeffrey, you are in America, and I am trying to find out what kind of money has been paid for these school buses that they are carrying to Jamaica to now carry our children. Conrad, you want to come in on that? Conrad?
Oh, sorry. Yes, Colin. One fun. Jeffrey chimed in just now and he talked about what he's seen on the road. You know, as a matter of fact, he's saying he was watching a live feed. And Colin, it is from where I sit, you know, just moving around. It is clear to me that the people of Jamaica are back where we were, in love with the PNP of 2011, when we had the very popular Portia Simpson Miller led the party to a 42-21 over Jamaica Labour Party, a clear 2/3 majority, Colin. I am also saying that, Colin, what we are seeing now, I am anticipating that in 1993, when PJ Patterson, the Fresh Prince, took home 53 seats then for the People's National Party, and basically repeat the feat in 1997 to carry home 52 seats out of 60.
Conrad?
Yes, Colin.
Your background is very noisy.
52 out of 7. I don't have anything in the background. Any better?
Go ahead now.
I don't have anything out the background, Colin. I'm by myself and I have nothing, no one,
but
nothing.
it's much better now. Much better
All right,
now.
good. So Colin, I'm saying that PJ Patterson took home and the PNP took home 53 seats in 1993 out of 60. And then he basically repeat the feat in 1997 when he took home again 52 seats, lost one. And Colin, I would not be surprised if at the election night coming in 2025,
but
we certainly better that feat of 2011 on the Portia Similar when the PNP got 42 seats, based on what we're seeing here now, Colin. The people, in my opinion, seems to have turned their back on the whole.
Conrad.
Something is certainly happening in Jamaica.
Conrad.
Just to segue, Colin, quickly into the question that you asked.
Yes,
about
please.
The bus.
Yes.
Yes, we do the work, and we recognize that there is a way of basically do away with buses when they reach a kind of mileage and the age of these buses that Darrell Boss brought into Jamaica. For one, they retired them from carrying school children because of safety matters. They say it's not fit for purpose to carry children in the United States. Two, they said, listen, it is either scrapped, sold to private people who can do something other than that with it, or they are given to third world country, and they said, are they sent to third world country? The sent to third world country, I take it that it could be actually free. So therefore, I as I've been asking, and I had a discussion with the transport spokesperson, Michael Phillips, to say that he must ask this question, and Jamaica as a whole should be asking this question. What about the invoice? How much did Jamaica pay for the bus?
Definitely.
What condition did we get these bus? Darrell Bart has some question to answer. Because if something is not fit in the United States to carry their children, why would we import that? Because our children, when a man can basically say, boy, I'm going to go buy one used car and so on. When it comes to our children, we must basically at all time have the best to transport them.
Jeffrey Tavares. Jeffrey? Hold on. We lost Jeffrey a while ago. We definitely lost you a while ago, Jeffrey. Hold on. Let me do this. I'm just trying this system for the first time, Jeffrey. Just hold the line for me. Just hold the line for me because I just realized that yes, you were in, but my listeners weren't hearing Jeffrey. So let me just go back to ensure that my listeners can hear him. All right, here we go. Unmute this. Hold on, Jeffrey. Hold on, Jeffrey. Just hold on. My bad. It's all my bad. So, and I think we lost him now. So I have to add back me up there. Yes. And then we get back Jeffrey. Conrad, when we look at, I did some research just before the program. And we realized that the buses, all right, here comes Jeffrey. Yes, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I was saying, before I segue to what I was saying, Colin, the road trip for the PNP is in high gear, man. High gear. It's live on the method of 402. It's in high gear. Anyway, what I was saying, I have seen these buses carrying students up here, right here in Broward County and the major part of Florida and so forth. I do not know if there's a specific bus that they've banned from carrying students here in the United States that Mr. Vaz has down there. I don't know. What I'm saying though is this. Isn't there a different way that the minister could use a different bus system to carry our students more than taking in these buses that you have to refurbish to put it on a different, because Jamaica's a left-hand drive. Those buses are right-hand drive.
No, Jamaica is left-hand drive. The buses are left-hand drive. So our vehicles that we use in Jamaica, the driver is on the right.
Right, yes, true, yes. It's don't make to say, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to know, could the minister use some other bus system more than use these?
All right, so my understanding, Jeffrey, my understanding is after 12 years and anywhere between 150,000 miles to 200,000 miles, the United States government stopped using these buses for safety reasons, that they are not as safe anymore to carry the children, plus high insurance, and therefore they take them out of service. Also, my understanding is that if the mileage is over 160 miles, you can get that bus for under 5,000 Jamaican dollars. If it is less than 150 miles, it is between 5,000 and 10,000 Jamaican dollars. I sent a message earlier this morning to Minister Vaz asking him how much is the Jamaican government paying for these buses. Go ahead, Jeffrey. Let me check my phone right now to see if there is any answer from the minister before I answer that. Go ahead.
Or maybe we'll just in the ATR to find out how
Well,
much you're paying for the buses.
well, I know. Hold on. Before you go any further, Jeffrey, I know that an ATI request has been sent off just this morning to find out the cost of these buses. So if Mr. Vaz think him go and hide and don't tell you how much these buses cost, the ATI has been sent off.
And not only that though, how many of these buses are really roadworthy? Because I'm being told every time they carry the buses go straight to the JUTC mechanic shop. And one of them was seen on a record car from the port of Kingston dragging through halfway through to river.
Conrad, you want to come in?
So the question.
Yes. Let me.
Go ahead, Conrad.
Yes. Just two things here, Colin. One, Jeffrey said he saw those buses carrying children in Florida. The point we're making is you would see the bus that look like this, but the bus as it relates, and he had just said it, the bus in terms of the mileage and all of those sort of things, that's the difference. That's the difference that we're talking about. Because those buses that we gather that are here in Jamaica, those would be a part of the retired fleet. And Colin, I want you to basically recheck what you said. 5,000 Jamaican dollars, you said, you know.
No, 5,000. Sorry, 5,000 US dollars. Sorry. If I said Jamaican, it is US dollars. Yes. So we're buying them in the US, so it would be US dollars. My apologies, listeners and viewers, if I said Jamaican dollars. It is, if the mileage is over 160 miles, 160,000 miles, sorry, you can get that bus for under 5,000 US. If it is between 150,000 miles, if it's less than that, I think it's between 5,000 and 10,000 United States dollars. Some of them can go up to about 50,000 US dollars, depending on the condition and the mileage. But the thing about it is, gentlemen, is that they only take them out of service when they are over 12 years old or over 150,000 miles.
Indeed. And what happened, Colin, why this ATI is absolutely important is that we saw what had transpired. And let's not forget it at all. We saw what had transpired with the drill, neuro drill, medical drill, that 31 million was paid for. Where ordinarily this drill, along with the accoutrements, could be purchased for between 2.5 to 3.5 million J. Right? So we have to basically guard against this, because we could very well see a similar scenario here as what we saw with the neuro drill. Right? So again, Darrell Vaz, Minister Vaz, MP for Eastern Portland, that I gather Ms. Campbell have under some amount of pressure. I know there's a lot of things on his plate, but I believe that this one, he will really have to step up to the podium and talk and give us the answers and this Colin.
Yes, we need to know. Jeffrey, you want to come in?
Yes, the Jamaican people need to know the cost of these buses, and are they safe to carry our students? Are they safe to carry our students? And if they are, is there an insurance? And then if anything happened to one of our kids, we can get some money from the insurance company? Those are the questions that Jamaican people need to ask the minister.
And I would want to say, if they are not safe to carry the American children, why are they safe to carry our children? Let me take a call.
There you go.
Let me take a call. Hold on, Jeffrey. Let me take a call.
If the Americans decide to send it to a dump yard, come on. Go ahead, Colin.
Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Mr. Bell.
Yes, sir.
Then right now in Southeast St. Elizabeth, yeah, I'm in the stairs right now. I look for certain things.
Me want to know. I don't know if me can say it for your program still, you know. But I still gonna ask one question about Mr. Scott. Still gonna ask one question about Mr. Scott.
No, man,
Him
Scott.
come here, him come here and he must say, if you look past Spanish Town and see him work, I'm seeing a couple of days ago, you know, I talk to him and I ask him, say, where him come, where the present member of parliament right now, Franklin Witter, doing where him feel, we're not doing where him feel him can come do. I talk about water, I talk about road. All of them is something they fix already. Me ask him right
All
now.
of them something they do what? Hold on. All of them
something they work on already.
Oh, them are
All
work
them
on.
something they work. We road is right now St. Elizabeth, not Southeast St. Elizabeth. We have the best road. The best farmer road right now we have right now. Very little patch in the Southeast St. Elizabeth we can go find. We don't have good road, and that I mean I talk about since the Spark program I come. They talk about from long time from Frankwita there.
So you say your roads are good.
We start the water project on 2007 and Frankwita when this apartment come, you know, do not apart from the water project again till in lose 2016 Frank starts back again.
Let me ask you a question.
Till we bring water now in a Junction Square when they did it how much years. Right. So
Caller,
ask him the question. I mean,
no,
like
can I ask you a question?
When he come at St. Elizabeth condo.
Hello.
No start and what
Hello.
his legacy.
Hello.
In a Spanish.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, me I hear you.
What percentage of the constituency of which part of St. Elizabeth is it?
Southeast St. Elizabeth, Franklin Witter.
Yeah, man. What percentage of the constituency have running water in their pipes in your bathroom?
In your bathroom?
Yeah, what?
Well, all right. Me can actually tell you say right now, me that put it at least 70% of the people.
So 70%.
Yeah,
of the people in Southeast. And in
2007, and in two, listen before we say anything further.
Hold on, man.
And in two, yeah, listen.
Shaman. Me have one button, you know.
Call you, are you listening again, Harris?
You have to, but you have to listen.
You just want to cut me out. You know what to explain itself.
Hold on, man.
Program, you know.
Hold on, man.
Program all the while, you know. You come like you want to cut off people when people are talking. You know. When people are talking, you don't want the people to hear the truth what people are saying.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hear you, man.
Yeah, man, but you hear me I say no? I'm here the host. I'm here the chairman for the program.
Yeah, so that means the caller
man.
No problem if the caller to come along and listen to you.
Hold on, man.
Yeah.
Me are the chairman. So when you talk, I may ask you to stop. You must stop. You understand what I say? So me ask you a question. You spoke about what Norman is coming to do and whatever. I said to you, say, what percentage of the constituency?
And I told you 70%. I told you 70.
Sure, man.
Not true.
No, man. Make we be decent to each other. So you say 70% of the constituency have water in their pipe.
Yeah.
Hold on for me, please. I don't know the constituency that well. I have Conrad O'Brien on the phone who lives in Manchester, who may know the constituency. Please allow me to ask Conrad about the constituency and what you are saying, if it is factual. Conrad?
Well, certainly is not speaking the truth. There's not 70% of Southeast Central does not have potable water in their pipe. It is indeed a lie out of the pit of hell. But let's look at something quickly.
Hold on, Conrad. Can I ask you another question? Him said all the roads in Southeast St. Elizabeth are good. Is that true?
Again, not true. As a matter of fact, recently I was driving up from St. Elizabeth.
Hold on, Carla. I'm going to come back to you. Carla, I'm going to come back to you. Just allow Conrad.
Recently, I was driving from Recently, I was driving from St. Elizabeth, approaching the gutters main road there. And I bust a tire there. And Colin behind me. When we bust the tire, I was driving. What's going on here?
No, man, I'm hearing you,
friend of
Conrad.
mine who lives in the United States, Everton.
Oh, somebody's
And
calling.
when I bust my tire, I heard behind us, padam. By the time we look behind us, Colin, it was about at least a minimum of 6 other vehicles who busted their tire there as well. So this gentleman not speaking the truth. But he mentioned about Scotty going into the constituency. Let me just say this, because I know the place very well. I had a girlfriend right up on Dunderhill there some time ago. So I know the junction area, and he knows Dunderhill is one of the upland community down there. And some time ago, Colin, years ago, Junction had one little shop down there. And under the People's National Party administration, the entire junction there built out and become one of the fastest growing towns. With all of that, the people of the constituency Richard Parchment as member of parliament. Therefore, for him to come and say just that the people of Southeast Central are independent thinker and everybody can what is
Conrad.
Yes.
Hold a sec for me, please.
Hold on. In 2007, water start come from New Pride for the water for the Come Junction. From 2007, they can go a lie, I tell.
Hold on.
Me know I didn't live. Me can tell him that.
Carla, hold on.
Junction every day.
Carla.
So
Hello.
Like PMP.
Hello. Jeffrey, you wanted to say something?
Yes, let me say this. I have in-laws who lives in St. Elizabeth. In the area that he's talking, there is no water up there. There is no water. The road is atrocious. What Barbara Green did, I don't want to know what called Barbara Green.
Go ahead, Jeffrey. I'm listening to you.
What Barbara Green does is to Barbara Green some road that lead to nowhere. But the main road is not Barbara Green. His friends and cronies have water. But the people them don't have no water. Some people who live on the high rise has no water. They have no pump to pump water up there. National Water Commission doesn't have time to go up there either. So what this call is talking about.
He know lettuce. He know New Forest. Ask him if he know Cheapside. He know Junction. He know Top Hill.
Hold on.
Ask him if he know Top Hill.
I know Top Hill is where they nearly killed Michael Manley. Top Hill is the community that the fire gunshot after Michael Manley in the 80s.
The place have water.
So Carla, hold on, gentlemen. Carla. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I hear you.
You said 70% of the area of water.
Yes,
you said
you can't guarantee that.
And you say all the roads are good.
Me never say all the roads. I did not say all the roads. Me say majority of the roads. I did not say all the cars not perfect.
What percent?
I did not say all of the roads. Me say you find like a patch off road. We not have where we fix up still. And that did not go on because when time, hold on, let me tell you something. Me be a listen long time, brother. I want to talk now.
Why we my fight?
Me be a listen long time. Want to talk now.
How we my fight?
Me want to talk now. Give me my time to talk now.
So we are fight.
But you want to tell me to listen. I mean, you know how much minute now still going to listen.
But we are listening to you now when you fight yourself. We are listening to you now when you're fighting yourself.
What I am saying to you, in a 2007, in an election, me no say. I'll give you one example. Just a mere example. I'm talking about my road, which is Queensbury Road. That road, when I come from town, I leave Kingston and come here at the age of 7 years old in 1976. And when I come here at Queensbury Road, that's him Dante could walk on it from Crossroad, up a Crossroad to go to Queensbury. In 1980, that road was fixed by 6th of July under the Jamaican Labour Party in 1982-83. 1989, 88, Gilbert come, wash off half of the road back because it is a hilly interior. So part of the road down the bottom, wash off back, go back down. And before 89 February, that road is fixed. And as mighty as a great man, not upgrade a man never throw back on that road until 2010 when time Frank with a come fix back that road. A great man never throw back on that road.
All right.
My mother dead and me
hold on, Conrad. All right. So, hello? Caller? Hello? Hello, sir?
Right.
Hello, sir?
I tell you.
Sure, man. We not talk. You see, me don't want you hold the phone like it's a microphone you're talking. So when me I talk to you, you not hear me, brother. You have to hear me when me I talk to you,
Yeah.
Where does the people of what, Northeast St. Elizabeth? Southeast St. Elizabeth. Where do they earn a living? What is the means? Farming.
And construction. That's
how much of the arable lands down there are irrigated? Because St. Elizabeth now have water, you know.
Oh God, man. Let me tell you. You want me to tell you, brother? You want me to tell you, brother?
Yeah.
You have a water system will come from one place, from Monroe, they call him Chelsea. That water pump from our Hanslow and come up to the hill and come at the big tank upper Monroe, a place and call him Chelsea.
So hold on, you know.
From the whole of Chelsea go back to Malvern.
The lands,
Chelsea is about
the
a
lands,
mile and a half out of Malvern.
So all of those lands are irrigated.
Right back up in Malvern school field. Get the water from there, so I will turn it down.
Hello?
And come down in a Monroe.
Hello?
Down to Cardiff.
Hello?
Down to Pastor.
Caller?
Yeah, me I hear you.
So all of those lands are irrigated.
All of those lands irrigated.
So, hold on, man.
A long time in talk about things with you.
Good. So you're saying that the people of that constituency don't want nothing. Then good.
What you mean by we don't want nothing? What you mean by that?
Then you ask Norman Scott what he's coming with.
Yes, but what I'm saying, if I talk about water, we'll get that right now. We not get everything not done yet, but we can see the project putting in place for that. We see that putting in place. We see that going on.
All right, caller. All right, caller. Hello.
All right.
You want to ask him something, caller?
Yeah, man.
Conrad, have a question for you.
First thing I want to... Some of the myths and some of the lies that the caller...
Go ahead, Conrad. Go ahead.
To date in Southeast St. Elizabeth, and it's not about one party or the other. Today, the people in Northeast and Southeast St. Elizabeth still crying foul because of a lack of water for their produce. That is one of the reasons why, for example, things like their melon and so on, they suffer from a lot of drought down there. One of the mainstay, Colin, to basically keep the soil cool down there in St. Elizabeth is high vegetation, such as cutting up guinea grass and so on to use to cover their produce to keep the soil moist. This caller can't tell me nothing. Me a Manchester man with close connection down to St. Elizabeth. In addition to that, I also want to ask the question to the caller to speak to me about the factory that Papa D, the most successful member of parliament, Mr. Derek Rochester, had down there in that constituency when he built out things like the Bammy factory, and also the training institution for youngsters that has been discontinued and wrecked by the Jamaica Labour Party. What is the status of those things in there to basically build young people and to ensure that the people are better off? Talk to those things for me, sir, please.
Let me tell you about Derek Rochester.
Since you say you know St. Elizabeth.
Go ahead.
You want me to tell you about Derek Rochester? Let me tell you something right now. There is no legacy in the Southeast St. Elizabeth. You know which people benefit from Derek Rochester? Out of Neon, out of New Paris, out of Myers Division. As long as a benefit from the contester. So feel the benefit from the
All right, caller. Hold on. Caller. I now listen to when we talk. Go ahead, Shawman.
Yo, Colin.
Wagwan.
Come here, my friend Jeffrey. Boy, you love a good Colin.
Yes.
Boy, you love a good Jeffrey. Yeah.
You want yell up Jeffrey?
Show Jeffrey. Yeah, you hear me? Colin.
Yeah.
Me don't want when you hear the friend them on the year you want labor right chat, you know. Like you want to call on the one labor right, you know. And the one Colin you didn't need.
All right, Sean. Little more. Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Welcome.
Yes, sir. I'm calling from Southeast St. Elizabeth.
Southeast, which part of Southeast St. Elizabeth you call from?
St. Elizabeth, what is it called?
Bull Savannah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Norman Scott here, right?
Yeah. The man said 70% of the constituency have water.
Listen, all I'm tell you about that. Right now we Bull South. No water over here. No water in Bull South. Right now.
Wait, so right now when they're in water low?
Right now,
Hold on a little bit. Hold on. Caller, hold on for me. Kirk, I had that caller on for over 15 minutes. So, time to give somebody else another try. Plus, him need a listen. Obviously, when I talk on the phone, him hold the phone like so and talk like a mic. So, when I am talking to him can't hear me. But I have no time for that. Go ahead, caller. Sorry.
Yeah, man. So, what you said, no water, a lot of better way of talking, no sense. So because choke off your water over there every day.
Just a push politics.
Centralization come from.
What percentage of Bullsav you think of water? Not Bullsav, the constituency of running pipe water.
Mr. Bell, ask me, I tell you right now, no water in the Bullsav. We only get water two times a week as it comes to cut off. Everybody will have black jump on the house, have to buy water through there. So they call it there. You know what I'm about.
No, man, I'm asking you. He said about 70% of the constituency of portable water. What do you say?
No, that is untrue.
What percentage you say?
About 20% we have the water. About 20%.
Have pipe water?
Yes, about 20%. And only 2 days a week to get it. 2 days a week.
Oh, yeah, I say.
And sometimes, as you come say cut off, you have to set up the whole and get one jump on water.
Petra is saying to me that only Junction at the moment have water.
Only Junction have the water now. Only Junction.
Wow. All right, caller. Thanks for the call.
All right, Mr. Bear. Take care.
Junction Colin is
Colin? Hold on, Conrad. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
In-laws who lives in St. Elizabeth, and they're having problems with water. People dying water left, right, and center. All Barbara Green does, and some of them does, and when they have opinion up in the jail,
Witter.
In Colin?
Witter.
Yes. All they do is Barbara Green the road. They don't Barbara Green the main road. The Barbara Green somebody go up in Miss Matthew house. And someone will go back in their place or whatever. The main one is not Barbara Green. And the people need water, people have road problem. So what this caller coming and talking about, I really don't know. The people have some people they're farming up there and having problem with water. They don't have the irrigation system.
All right. Thanks, Jeffrey. Go ahead, Conrad.
Colin, there's a difference there. But let's stick to the concept. Jeffrey referred to the name Barbara Green. Obviously, he's talking about flight Green. That's the neighboring constituency. That's not the constituency that the caller is talking about. Those are the two weather vane constituencies. So you have southeast and southwest. All right? So Witter is the MP for the constituency that the callers are talking about. And there indeed, the last caller there is indeed correct. There is absolutely not the kind of water supply that the other callers start to talk about. And it don't make sense for him to come and tell these lies, because there are some things that are just easily verifiable. But I want to just make a plea here for my friend, my good friend Showerman, because I love Showerman to speak, Colin. Showerman can reasonably, you know. He called me on Tuesday and he was upset. He was upset that I use a name and Saturday, Colin. I apologize to him, and I want to apologize here again. So give Showerman an opportunity, man. Showerman I'm reasonably.
All right, no. We're finishing up the program, Obi. We're finishing up. So, Jeffrey, anything you want to say finally before you go?
All I want to say is that this has been a great program and a very interesting program with Dr. Ferguson coming on and enlightening us some more what happened under his tenure. And, you know, we need to dig deeper on what he said, that we need to get the report out and call out the minister. The minister needs to resign. After this program is finished, come on over to the Mechatalk program. We're live with the PNP Road March. Colin, over to you.
Obi, finally.
Yeah, Colin. Dr. Ferguson, was curtain a bit. What Darrell Vaz did, he had a old, we remember it, and the pictures are available, a old tile bowl that he was going around with using to depict a particular situation in the hospital when Penton was there as minister. And what he said, imagine Darrell Vaz saying that he would not sit in the parliament with a decent man like Penton Ferguson. And as Dr. Ferguson said, that Andrew Holness, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, however late in the day, he should do the decent thing and sack Christopher Tufton as Minister of Health. We're talking about 24 babies in 25 days, call it one a day, right? That we had in that month, Colin. And just let's give the information here to the listeners. On the Fenton Ferguson, when the 18 baby died, and it's something that we hate that it happened, because I want every baby to live. But at that time, it was over a 4 months period, or a 3 months period across 4 hospitals. This is 24 in one hospital within 24 days, and Tufton still has his job when Andrew Holness was on top of his lungs, saying that Portia that all she needs to do is supply Penton Ferguson. This is why Andrew Holness becomes so unpopular, because the people have lost trust in him. All the best, Colin.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you. All the best. This government does not hear about your health. I hear the spirit of a little baby crying, saying, why did the people keep the Labour Party government in? If the Labour Party government was in, I would still be alive. I hear the spirit of the 18 babies that have died because of the consequences of this government. 18 babies have died. You don't need to pass the law. She don't need to lock up anybody to demonstrate her real care and concern for the children of this nation. All she needs to do is to fire the Minister of Health.
Go ahead, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
Is it an offense to use profane or obscene language in public?
Yes, it is.
And if it is that you had used profane or obscene language in public, there should be a charge brought against you?
Yes, there should be.
Because I remember 9C of the Act, it is an offense to use profane or indecent language in public. I
Yes.
hear people curse online and they don't go and look for them at times. Is that possible?
I didn't hear the last part.
People curse online most time and they don't go and look for them. Is that possible for they go and look for them?
They can, and just say know where to find everybody.
But if it is that an individual make a direct comment and said, would you charge him for that offense?
Yes, he should be charged. We have a lot of entertainers that have been charged for using indecent languages on stage.
Okay.
All right.
Well, all right then. Come see you on the last part of the program. Mr. O'Brien, big up yourself.
Bless up. Him gone.
Gone. All right, sir.
Yeah, man. So, there's just a couple of things that we want to know. We want to know the costs for the buses. How much Jamaica taxpayers are paying for these buses. And one of the problem, I see a Chevrolet bus, and I know that not going to last. Sure, man, where I say?
Conroy want to chat to me and you cut me off. Style you style me.
Me nah style you, man. Too much noise in your background. Even right now, your background noisy.
Come here, plans when you come at home more and jerk you up. You must come at home more and jerk you up.
Watch it in the shower, man. Jerk up who?
So just live good in me and you come at home and jerk you up.
Sure, man. That's not possible. Me that town every day. Very often.
Every day.
Very often me come at town. When me forward one idea, me call you and tell you where me there.
Yeah, man.
All right, my brother. Big up yourself.
So, how you not going for the tour?
No,
me going for your tour?
Remember, say the party leader did there Wednesday and Thursday, you know. So me do them 2 days already. And then we have other things we have to do, brother.
All right, me done. No say no.
Respect, shower, man.
And we are winner still, you know. No say no, we are winner.
Did win, and not go win that time, yeah.
And we are win the election, man.
No.
Straight.
Jamaica needs to be rescued from Andrew Holness. Hey, shower, man. Yeah. This is no longer your Labour Party where you didn't know, you know, Siaga and Bruce Golding, you know. Your Labour Party have been hijacked by a bunch of bandits. You understand? So now see Labour Party this.
Yeah, you hear me?
What you say?
Your party, when we have Michael Man, the covered party, I know hit this again, you know.
Yeah, man, I hit this.
Rise United.
No, man, this is the People's National Party, Democratic Socialism. Yes, man.
I'll put Peter Philip. It's done.
No, sir. Little more.
All right.
Yeah, man. This is the real PNP right now that you are seeing. A party of ideas. And I want to drop an idea upon you this morning before I leave, you know. Because, you know, say, we are the visionary and we have the vision. In 2019, I went to the UK. Your call already from morning, you know. Hold on there for me. Hold on for me. In 2019, I went to the United Kingdom. Go England. Go up there, go buy a garbage truck. Where the labor right them stop from work. When we carry it at Jamaica, and the labor right them find out say my garbage truck, them stop it from work. But when I was going to buy that truck, I drove about 3 hours, me alone. And I was holding some meds. And a thing came to me. And then my brethren will call me. This week, I think it was Wednesday, him call me. And him call me with the same idea. Now, I'll drop it here, so. It is recorded. So I said to the GLP, if you don't steal it, I'll charge you for it. Jamaica health sector is in a problem. Most people don't have health insurance. So it is also something that I copy from Michael Manley. So just like how we have the National Housing Trust, I am suggesting, and I should say we, because my brethren never know say me have the idea, and him call me upon it. But it is on my Facebook page, because I think I did put it out there, on my Facebook page. Jamaica needs to set up a National Health Trust. Jamaica National Health Trust, just like the housing trust. People pay into it, and when you need a drawdown, you get that kind of drawdown. So we need a health trust that everybody pays compulsory, like how you pay in the housing trust. So when you have a surgery, money is there. And people who can't pay in it from time to time, then the trust may be able to give a grant. So this is a plan that will be put on the People's National Party table to set up a Jamaica Health Trust that people will pay money into. Every month, you pay your $200 or your $300, just like when you're paying at the housing trust. Because when you pay housing trust, some people are $200 and $300, them are paying $400, $500, $1,000. You pay that every month. And when you have a need, there will be money in the trust for you. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I have to call back. May I say, definitely, as I said, the point, one of the main point is to ask the PNP them, like, them done already, like, when them a keep a campaign, most of who they there, enough of them are comrade, most of them are comrade, but me not believe in the comrade thing or the shower thing, because me a Jamaican, I believe, say, if tomorrow morning one party, whether PNP or JLP, to have a right set of people, them, to do the right thing for the country, because we have little information. We know about human capital. Yeah? So we then try to empower them people that for represent we. What we see happen to we now, we believe so the PNP for try to convince inspire the 62% and say, listen, we need to get the more seat where we can get as possible. So the silent majority thing, anybody becomes government or still government over you. So you need to play a part. So when you play one part now, then the better decision we make. We see the two party over the years. Andrew Holness come and say in a theme party, him did go do better than the PNP, and we are say at least the JLP party can have some value now, apart from even better than Bruce Golding, because Bruce Golding bring it to one heights where him love the people and then the among the people, the man him a try. Yeah, and Andrew Holness did a show we say him was the kind of person that we could end up better. So when me I say the PNP have all of the things them like a secret for who don't know and who don't remember. Like what Dr. Ferguson go. The thing where Paul well do now, up to now, me hear people a touch peace site and nobody not explain what Paul will do. I think this year would then be the 38th year where we have a communication monopoly.
Hold on. No, the monopoly would come to a close in 2038. 2038. Right. It would have come to a close. And we closed that in the 90s.
Yes. Under PJ Pattison. Cheer by Paul well. So seem like the argument where them a try to mix up and a try look like so them not have no shares in a JPS and for the done speak for them. And also government work. Government have shares in a JPS and them have people on the committee where them if them want one conversation with JPS and them can start put out bidders for now for one license either. If you can give with these terms. So we know how government work. So them thing that they much out there of done people, just like how them are going to bring in bus, where we're outdated, where the iron reach one age, the alloy, the metal, the driving shaft, the gear thing, the arm where make the thing that turn. Yeah, it have an age pan it already. So it's not safe.
So that's why the US
them in a most.
So that's why the United States stop using these buses. And look at this. Hold on. The United States stop using these buses that have better roads than us. And the buses don't run far enough. Because if you understand how the US set up, you have school district. And these buses are at the schools. And they just run in that area. So the bus where we have a run from Buff Bay to Port Antonio. It don't run that far.
Road more worse than the urban.
Then that may I tell us the US have better roads than we don't have no roads. So the United States are saying that these buses are not safe to carry our children anymore because of the age and the amount of miles. But we are now taking them and say to us that our children not really good like the US picking them so them can go in on the whole bus.
I want to understand the value of human capital. If we did understand that, we then know that our tax dollar are the best. Our student them, especially the one who go to school, children forget the best out of the tax dollar. We prioritize on education and everything to do with liquor pitney. Health service when it come to pitney, it will be emergency. No pitney not supposed to go no hospital and wait. When you make big people wait, you must make liquor pitney wait at hospital. When I understand, so me I say the PNP we have some bright people. Some of them are go in at the trap bring down the conversation to where the JLP and the Kaba thing there. Lift up back the thing, because enough we were bright, we're not done.
So that's why, hold on, that's why I don't need to come over here where we lay out the thing there, because we have a video on Portland Spice TV with Philip Paulwell, you know, talking about the plans and what he had done. See him like what you are saying, you know? We did an interview with Philip Paulwell.
How much people are see it?
So you must bring them to it, share it with them when you see it. So we have to spread the thing, we have to like it, share it with everybody so that people can see it, put it on our platform. So the interview with Philip Paulwell is on this channel. Check it out. Him tell you about when do with telephone company, and him tell you about what he's going to do to bring down the energy costs in Jamaica. We're going to bring it down by 50%.
Yeah, so we start reason like to stop. Me hear some of the liquor, the kaba, them me hear with the word. Them argument there and thing where we come like everybody at Jamaica are done. So now everybody they draining at the brain drain thing. Some of us still left here. The negotiation now with the civil servant is not a natural negotiation, it's a psychological thing. What them do with the teacher, the first time when them go take the big raise, them did negotiate with the teacher. It's a psychological thing for run where the brighter people them from the country, frustrate them and run them way under style and the strategic, psychological strategy. For run with the brighter people, that's it. They have a government where corrupt and dishonest, when they believe in a human capital and goodly involved in the world colonialism, the settlers colonialism. That means they bring other people to your country, and the original people them that they live in the country, them find themselves dead off by all kind of terrorist mean. Them find themselves where them occupy land for 60 years. The government, they own a government, so you own the land. You can't find a document to let them push you off and get a new set of people. You have enough place in the world.
Make we talk again here.
Yeah, man, bless him.
Yeah, bless him. Yeah, man. So somebody's asking me if we manufacture vehicle in Jamaica. Kirk, you sound like a man when I have much sense. Colin, does Jamaica manufacture vehicle? We make some little something. We did make some little something one at a time. I don't know if we make 50, but I would say no, we don't manufacture vehicles in Jamaica. What is your point? What is your point? Somebody else is saying that it may be difficult to find a responsible person in our constituency, but you could in most. I don't know, that must be coming from something else. So I am saying that a health trust, just like the National Housing Trust, same thing, same concept, but this one would be for health. So I am putting it on the PNP table to be implemented when the PNP gets into power, that poor people can get proper health care. Let me give thanks to Ralston Iman for the lecture this morning. And we're going to cut it off and post it separate. Let me give thanks to Dr. Fenton Ferguson, a man with humility, integrity, and decency. Let me say thanks to him for coming on this morning. Good morning, welcome.
Morning, Colin.
Hey, welcome.
Read that healthcare thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
I agree with you that they need a health insurance plan where everybody contributes to.
Yeah.
We have a very good one in Canada because let me tell you, when I was working, not even me, when my husband was working, he was paying health care, right?
Yeah.
For me and him. And since I'm living here 45 years now, okay?
Yeah.
And I have never paid a cent when I go to the doctor, when I go to have my children, when I go to do tests, when I go for anything.
Well, don't talk about Canadian health system. Canada, one of the best health systems in the world.
Eh?
Canada have one of the best health system in the world.
Yes, and I'm thinking that Jamaica should talk to the Canadian people, go and try to use, as close as possible. And it was not very expensive, the monthly payments.
Yeah. And that's why I'm talking about.
I mentioned that.
And that's why I'm talking about the L trust, because it's not a lot, even people who pay housing trust, not a lot of money they pay.
Yeah.
Unless you're earning some big salary. So the payment to the housing trust would be based on what you earn.
Earning,
so same way the payment to the L trust would be dependent on what you earn. So we should develop a L trust in Jamaica so that our people can get good health care. So you do a big surgery and you can even go to a private hospital and the L trust would pay, once you're paying into the trust. Yeah, man.
Everywhere you go, the healthcare pay for it. When you go to the doctor, personally, I go and have my annual test every year. I go and do all the tests, them whatever, like how me all now. I have to do this at this time. Now that I have diabetes, I go in and then send you to what you call it? Dietitian. Them send you to them have a nurse you go to for the first 6 months, but them follow you. I mean, it's good, so.
Hold on. Somebody is saying Canadian healthcare is not free per se. I don't understand what you mean. I know it to be free. However, it's better organized than NHS in the
Colin,
UK.
It is not free because you pay to go in there. You pay every month to get the service. No.
Oh, you pay. Hold on, caller. You're paying your taxes.
You pay it you pay taxes every month.
Exactly.
Every month, you pay a certain amount for health care. Okay?
Yeah.
And I have been living here for 45 years, it never cost me a penny. There are a very few things, like if you go in for MRI, you see, and you have to maybe have a little waiting period for it.
Yeah.
If you want to go and get it done privately because you don't want to wait for the 2 months or the month that you can get it in your area, then you can pay for it privately and go and get it done.
All right.
But there you can't go and get it done if you are willing to wait, because there's a waiting list, and there are only a few things like that.
Okay. So you see what I say? So if all right, thank you, caller. So if you are paying your health trust fund, it's same thing. If you're not sick, you still have to pay, So you don't go pay when you're sick. So this health trust that I'm talking about, you'll be paying every month. But when you go to the hospital now and there's money needed to be paid, it comes from the trust for you. So understand what I say. When I say free, I don't mean not pay. But you're paying your taxes, so you pay a little. Every month, $1,000 come out of your pay to go towards your health trust. So when you go to the hospital, you are taken care of. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, caller.
Colin, sorry to call. Sorry. Let me tell you something. I shouldn't say Canadian healthcare. It's the Alberta healthcare that is like that, okay? And because each province has their own, and I know Ontario is a little different, even though you still get a lot of free things here.
Well, I have some experience. I have some experience with the Ontario healthcare. I have some experience with it, and even for a newborn baby, the baby don't pay nothing. Nothing is paid for the child.
Yeah, my first child was born in Ontario and I didn't pay nothing either. And I was living in Jamaica because I did just come to Canada at that time. I did just get my visa. Right? But by the time I come up here, I had to have the baby and I never paid that. But Alberta healthcare is the one I'm talking about, and it's Jamaica one that can go and deal with the healthcare people in Alberta and see what them system is.
All right. Thanks very much, caller. Thanks very much. Not taking any more calls. Me talking about my health trust, my idea of a health trust in Jamaica that everybody will pay into. Just like how you pay your housing trust, you pay a health trust. and that will take care of our medical bills. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Ralston. Thanks to Dr. Fenton Ferguson, Conrad O'Brien, Jeffrey Tavares. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace. Until we meet next Tuesday, stay safe. One love, my people.